The engineers have been out to the projects and started looking at some things. They highly recommended Waterford get paved after they went out there and looked at it. And it's one of the priority ones, I think. And this has two, but I'd make it a priority one. So Primrose, Colonial, every road back there in Waterford's going to get paved. Crystal. Indian Hills is going to be the next project that's going to get paved, repair and resurface. And another big one we're going to do is Fox. I did talk to Troy today to let them know that we are going to be working on Fox next year. I didn't know if they had it on the radar or not, and they said they have, but they didn't know if they'd have the funding to do the rest of Fox from Shaw to, what does that go, Rapids for them, I guess. And then the last road I threw on there was some chip and seal on Thorpe, to be from Crackle to Bartholomew. And that's all the roads for next year's road projects. Now, the engineers recommended signing the resolution of necessity for those roads. That's not a binding contract that we have to do them, but it gives them the right to proceed with basically the surveying of all the roads, so that if residents see surveyors down in their ditch and in their front yard, the engineers can say, yes, we have paperwork that says the engineer or the trustees are all on board about doing these roads. It just gives them the next step. It's nothing binding, but they said they'd like to have that signed. And I think you guys have a copy of that.
Yeah, I have a copy of the resolution here. I don't have the original.
It's down here.
Okay. Yeah, and I want to add that thanks to Mike here, the engineers kind of changed the timeline on this. This used to be something that they would have due about the 1st October.
Yeah, they're moving everything up.
They
It
moved
gives them
everything
some
up.
time. Well, what they're doing right now is they're checking pipes. So now if they find a real bad pipe, it gives them the time frame to engineer out a pipe and not push the whole project back because they have some specific
So we're a good 2 months ahead of where we usually are on
I would
this.
say.
So that's because he met the new deadline, and I kind of suspect we might have been one of the first ones in with those. So thanks, Mike.
Yeah, they were out and calling me right away as soon as I sent that information in.
Yep, thank you. All right, so I'm going to make a motion to adopt Resolution 2026-10 for convenience and necessity for the improvements of the various roads that Mike just mentioned.
I will second that.
PJ,
Yes.
Riley,
Yes.
Michael.
Yes.
Back that way.
That's all I have for you for tonight.
All right, thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
Fire department report.
The protocols for August, actually January 1st to August 31st, July 31st, I'm sorry. EMS calls were 313, fire calls were 260, total calls was 573. Previous year was 295 EMS calls, 199 fire calls, for a total of 494. Mutual aid given is 166. Previous year was 128. Mutual aid received was 10. Previous year was 67. Total transports was 210. Previous year was 199. Total non-transports was 113. Total last year, or previous year, was 131. Total transfers to other agencies, 3. Previous year was 5. Total patients was 326. Previous year was 335. Our multiple percentage of multiple calls back to back is 22.69%. That's it for my report.
Any questions for Chief Phillips?
I do. So I was going to bring it up in my report, but this is an equally fair time to speak with you during your report. So So let me get this up on the screen here. Let's see. Okay. So as everybody may or may not know, on Sunday, I saw with my own eyes, the fire department was completely unstaffed. And it raised a few concerns from a public safety standpoint, of course, and also it's budget time. The budget hearings were today at the county, and they take contracted fire departments and levies very seriously up there. It's always an important topic to be good stewards of taxpayer dollars and make sure the trustees are our last line of defense to ensure some sort of coverage. So I wanted to get some questions hammered down with you specifically. Let's get right into it. Does the contract the township has with the fire company allow for times of zero coverage?
I'm going to turn some of this over to our Corporation Vice President, Mr. Sharpenberg.
Sure, Chief, I'll speak to that, if that's okay.
Yeah, does the fire board have complete control of operations, which would entail staffing?
Right now, do we have complete control of it? No. We share
Okay.
that with the chief. At the end of the day, are we accountable for that? Yes. We
Okay.
signed a contract with you and we read the paychecks. But for practical purposes, we share that with the chief.
Okay.
Now, your question is, say that one more time?
Does the contract the township has with the fire company allow for times of zero coverage?
I don't read it that way as it was intended. The contract is with a private volunteer fire department. In that way, and I'm not an attorney, so are we providing the level of service that you expect by having no one in the fire station? No. Does the contract allow for it?
Fair.
Sure.
The corporation hereby agrees to provide fire protection and emergency medical service for a term commencing January 1st, 2026, terminating December 31st, 2026, to Auburn Township and such other communities. So I know this is obviously a hot topic issue. A lot of people are here tonight for this. Since you're speaking on our fire prevention officer's behalf for this, is this acceptable?
No, it's not.
Okay. We'll get back to that. So without dragging this on, so question 2, is there anybody that can specifically with documentation show me this, or the radio call out from the sheriff's department, anything that the surrounding stations were all made aware that Auburn had zero coverage? That's for you, Mr. Phillips.
Troy was notified and said they would cover for us.
You called them on your cell
Mr.
phone?
Valero called him.
You called them on your cell phone and spoke with
I talked to the chief there, the acting chief.
and said that
That's
Auburn
exactly what you said, right?
Auburn has no coverage for the entire shift?
Yep.
Okay. But that was it, not Bainbridge?
Bainbridge was down to 4.
Sorry, down to 4?
Down to 4.
Okay,
We have an agreement, we work with Troy as they do with us.
okay. Now, this one concerns me, and I'm learning the intricacies as I go here, but was dispatch made aware with, and documented no coverage? Like, were they fully made aware?
No, they weren't, Riley.
And there's a reason I'm asking.
There's a reason, I'll explain that to you if you need me to.
Actually, can Mr. Phillips answer?
I'm the one that made the call. So if you want my answer, I'll give it to you. If you don't...
You made the call to the dispatch?
No.
Oh, well, the reason I feel it's important, and correct me if I'm wrong, so when the call first goes out, the dispatch will wait. What is that time they will wait to make a second call?
They're not gonna wait for us, Riley.
No, for a response.
There was a plan in place. to alleviate that situation. If you want me to answer the question of what we did, I could do that.
How does dispatch work? That's what I'm asking. What is
I don't
the,
work for dispatch. I don't know.
I'll answer your question direct.
All I can tell you is what we
People
did.
listen to the radio. If we have a call, they'll dispatch know right away they need to stop.
who was assigned to do that?
There's several of us that listen to the radio. Me, another fire department member. Down our text we put out to everybody.
So to shorten it up a little bit here, because you're gonna drag it out.
This is really important to me, so
We
please
talked
don't say
to
that.
Troy, I did specifically, and the goal is to cover our calls. When Troy gets paged out on a call, I certainly wouldn't want dispatching Troy, when we should call another agency. So the goal is to monitor the screen, monitor the other agencies to see who's out and who's not. And if Troy's out, we would call another agency.
So
No different than
people,
we'd do if we were staffing, Riley.
so we had somebody dedicated to that job.
Yes.
Okay. I know the answer to this one, but I want to have it on record. So it's my understanding that the trustees were not made aware that there was no coverage for the whole day, for the whole
I
shift.
didn't notify.
Okay. You didn't know? You didn't know?
I did not.
Okay. Would you like to know moving forward? Or can I request to be notified that there's no coverage?
You could have called me when Mr. Carterman calls you.
well,
Got you at the
so
station
the-
to
so-
provide your video.
Yeah, it's great. So the very direct question,
That's a direct question, direct answer. You could have called me.
what am I gonna call you every day and check? I'm just asking if you could tell me.
Because you knew the station was unstaffed.
Right. That's good that I found out because nobody was
You
telling
didn't call
me.
me, Riley. That's what
Why
we
would I
talked
call
about.
you?
It's all
You're-
about honesty and,
You're not-
making sure that,
Okay.
we're on the same page.
Riley, can I speak to that?
Please.
So, if you don't know me, I'm Matt Scharfenberg. I've been a volunteer fireman here since 2000. My dad didn't build a house in Auburn in 1993 because we didn't have paramedics. So, as the vice president of the corporation today, I'm not proud to say that yesterday we didn't have anybody in the firehouse, 33 years later. And I'm gonna own that on behalf of the corporation and the board and the fire company that didn't happen. We don't expect the township trustees to ask us if we have staffing because you assume that we do. And that's our job to make sure that happens. Since we have the contract with you to provide fire and EMS service, I know it's a volunteer fire department in name, but we know that that's not your expectation. And we know that the community doesn't expect to show up at the door and find no one answering it. In the past year, we've transitioned from the township telling us who our chief will be and us accepting that and deferring to John on a lot of things. We're not gonna have this conversation again as the board, and we're not gonna let ourselves be in the same situation moving forward. That's probably gonna look like we take on some more responsibility because we signed the contract with you. If you want phone calls when these things happen, which is perfectly reasonable, because that's a significant event, you should probably know about it, we can talk about how to do that.
Or an email.
Or email, phone calls, whatever the thing is, like that's significant enough that you should know.
Can we view only access for staffing?
I'm sure that's a thing.
Yeah,
I
I
don't-
can share
Can
it.
I get set up for that, for example?
I can share it.
Just a view only?
Link, I
Okay.
can make, yeah.
Would it be a lot to ask that a plan is in place? Like, when somebody gets hurt, you have to point at somebody and say, you're in charge to call 911. That's the first thing they teach everybody, right? Can we get it on paper who told dispatch or who specifically was tasked with calling the stations and letting them know if this happens while we're in this transition to fix this? Is that a lot to ask?
Is the question, can we find out what happened yesterday? Or is the question, what
Well,
are we gonna do going forward?
It's my understanding only Troy was notified and dispatch was not made aware. Moving forward, can there be an actionable plan that somebody specifically will document, hey, I called Troy, I called Bainbridge, I called Manaway, and I called Newberry, or whatever surrounding stations we would rely on in this, I don't want to call it an emergency, but we had no staffing, nobody knew about it. Or at least, we're the last line of defense to try to, we take an oath to provide protection for the residents. And if we don't know, we can't do that. So that's why I'm trying to, I don't want this to drag on. I want solutions tonight. That's my goal. Talk about these things openly, get solutions, ask the fire board, what will empower the fire board or make the fire board more able to make swift decisions in an instance like this? And I'll give you an example. Are the firefighters comfortable just signing out like a chase vehicle, for example, so then at least somebody is available? Or does that have to flow through fire prevention to get approved?
No, I can tell you that I personally do that, and some of us do that.
Okay, so
We'll take
that's-
the car home. On the rare nights we don't have a paramedic, I personally take the car home. I'm not on the clock, I'm not getting paid, but I'm proud of this town, I live here, and I care about the service we provide, so I've done that, and other people do that. Can we make that a more formalized, regular thing? Absolutely.
Versus zero? in
Yeah,
this
and
case?
Bainbridge did the same thing years ago, they had take-home cars, Russell has take-home cars, that's not unusual.
Okay. Does the fire board have full control of the fire department? And I ask that specifically because the fire company is receiving the taxpayer dollars. So it makes sense to me that the fire board would be in charge of all operations. Now, it's my understanding, maybe it's a technicality that we need to address, but specifically, the fire prevention officer is in charge of operations, as it's written.
As it's written and as it's been conventionally done, yes.
Would it help the fire board if that was not the case, where the fire board was in charge of operations solely?
Yes,
you have
if
more-
if that was more clear, and in either case, we need to take a more active role in that. At the end of the day, we're the trustees of a nonprofit corporation. We're responsible for the conduct of that corporation, which includes this. And
You're the contracting body.
we're the ones that sign the contract with you and write the paychecks to the folks. So, yes, I think we should have a conversation to clarify that, or whatever document or conversation that turns into, but either way, we need to have a more active role in that. I
I mean, we could talk about it right now. So I think it's number 6 in the contract. Pursuant to ORC 505.38B, Board of Trustees shall appoint a fire prevention officer who shall exercise all duties of a fire chief except those involving maintenance and operation of fire apparatus. Is it safe to say that the fire board tonight, right now, effective immediately, is in charge totally of operations? Can we clarify that? Because that's a big, it's an important technicality that I would like to clarify publicly.
That's the technicality we always get hung up on, yes. We read that to mean that we are in charge of the operation of fire department apparatus to be used in putting out fires, not, we're not talking about changing the oil on the engine, we're talking about using it.
Yeah,
Yes.
the operational aspect. I'll give you guys a second.
Yeah, I'm certainly not a lawyer, would never claim to be. But number 4 in the contract is corporation. You got agrees to provide and maintain necessary equipment together with trained personnel, which in its judgment is sufficient and adequate for the purpose of fighting fires, rescue, and saving lives. So that's kind of definitive corporation right there to provide what I just have read. Right? Isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, and I do mean this in a complimentary way. I've been around long enough that, gosh, some daytime staffing sure would be a great thing to have at the fire station. So we've gone all the way from there to maybe we could cover the station 4 hours a day. And then I think it went to 8, and then over time we made it to 24/7. So this is why we're here. because this is a disappointment. We achieved that goal. You guys did it, along with this board and the various members that have been here. We did that, and this is a regression we don't want to see happen.
And we agree, and we've had conversations internally to start to change that, to update to where we need to be, right? We have a corporation that was founded in '54, the 1950s, based on a model that you don't see private fire companies popping up left and right all over the state for a reason. And we're trying to transition that to meet the needs of the community today. We're still a volunteer fire department in name. We still have people that come in and answer calls, volunteer, although the majority has shifted all the way back to staffing doing that and volunteering being the rare exception. At the same time, we face the labor shortage that everybody else around us faces. We have to come up with ways to deal with that. Recruiting's down. We can't find firefighter paramedics like we used to. Full-time firemen don't want part-time fire jobs like they used to. Attrition's higher than it used to be. Those are not excuses, that's the context of it. And if you've seen our bylaws, they're not clear-cut as to who does what. We're sitting down right now updating those. We have those in draft. It says the chief will work with the board on this, the board will work with the chief on that. So who's responsible for it? It's a conversation every time. Like, it's a debate every time. In-house, we do need to clean that up.
Would it help though, just because this is an important topic, I want to go back to it. We can clarify right now that the board would be moving forward effective immediately in charge of all operations. Just to make that extremely clear, the board is in charge of all operations and related, because as it stands, I'm understanding that some of it is flowing through fire prevention. I think that's a bottleneck to this whole situation. And I'm personally not on board with having fire prevention oversee $1 million plus budget. Fire prevention should be fire prevention, and there's a lot of money wrapped up in fire prevention. So you'd assume they would be busy with fire prevention, not running the complete operation of a 30-person roster day to day and making sure that the station is staffed and that the town is protected. So it seems like a reasonable clarification request, and I'm hoping we can really nail that down right now with both of you.
One
Why
thing
are you making it, taking?
What's your name, ma'am? I can't hear you. What's your name?
Patty Phillips.
You're Mr. Phillips, the fire prevention's.
Excuse me?
Are you
I
his
am
wife?
Patty Phillips.
Okay. Okay.
If you got a problem with that, please say so.
Oh, I just wanted to get your name for the
But
camera.
why, and I understand we're not there live streaming either, so that's another problem, I guess, but for another time. Why are you picking and choosing the terminology that you want to use from ORC when it specifically states fire chief duties in that description, not just fire prevention? Fire prevention is just a title for all the duties that fall under it, which are very much spelled out in that ORC. But you seem to be picking only on one portion of that definition.
So my main concern was,
And you seem to be going to the fire department yesterday with a fire department member. So I would really like to know if that fire department member was so concerned about the station being unstaffed, why didn't he staff it? Obviously he had time to take you through the whole place.
well, so I'm trying to clarify whose jobs are what. That's the whole premise of this. I'm not sure this gentleman's job was to find staffing on a whim as he drove by. I don't know the answers to that. Did an emergency text go out or call go out to everybody saying, hey, the station is unmanned, can
No.
anybody
Look
please?
for coverage, and yes, I did put out a second page, the page stating that we're paying to have 2 people on for sure.
Yeah.
And I got no responses.
It was my
Well,
due
we did
diligence
have
to see it with
somebody
my
show
own
up.
eyes. I wasn't gonna take anyone's word on anything. I wanted to
Yes.
see what is happening. And I
Okay,
immediately
you had a
called,
road- You had a road contract with Phillips Paving. Did you go out and make sure that they were on the job every day and that they showed up like they should? because you wanted to micromanage their company, like I see you wanting to micromanage the fire department.
That's a good question.
Which I think they have a very good group of people and have done this for years. And I don't quite understand why you want to micromanage that.
So I'll answer all your questions. I'm happy to. Nobody said that the road crews that were putting the road in didn't show up but took the money. And that the equipment was idling on the side of the road. So that's why I didn't, just to directly.
But you never went out and checked.
Well, nobody said that they're not doing the work and they're getting paid. I can assure you, I would fly over there and see that with my own eyes. Hey, we're cutting a $700,000 check to Phillips Paving, and somebody said, but the road's not paved. I can promise you I'd go look at that. So that didn't happen, though. This is just a hypothetical. And it's a good one, but that's your answer. Secondly, I'm not micromanaging anything. The department was literally unstaffed. And it's the trustees' responsibility, we're sworn by it, to protect the town. And the timing was bad, because there were budget hearings today, which I'm gonna get to. So there are some constructive recommendations that the county's making as well, because they're aware of this and they understand this happened. So my goal is to sit here as long as it takes to get answers and to get this fixed. Because if it happens again, now it's on me. I knew this was a problem. I didn't do anything to proactively fix this. And I don't even have access to the schedule, so that's a big move. I could see that. If we see it coming in advance, something needs to change, obviously. The fire board, I think we're getting to the point we can agree or talk about it again, that the fire board, who is in charge of the levy and all the tax dollars, is in complete control of operations, moving forward effective immediately.
So when you award a contract to another company, you're gonna go in and make sure that those people show up on time, that you know who has full control over everything, like you're doing with this contract?
This contract was from December 15th of 2025. I was not here, and I do remember that this contract was not sent to the county for review. That's on record in the minutes. So the last time the contract was looked at would have been the 2024 contract, or the, excuse me, 25 contract in 24. So let me get to the county stuff, actually, that would help. But before we do that, I'll make a formal motion if that clarifies it, but the tax dollars are committed to the company. In my mind, if the company is not in full control of operations, but they're taking all of the tax dollars with the agreement to manage, I don't know that it's fair to, it doesn't read that it's fair to the fire company, that they're taking accountability for this, but they don't have full control of operations. So I really want to clarify that point, because like Matt said here, they're getting hung up on that technicality. It goes back and forth. Is that fair? I mean, what, Mr. Phillips?
No.
Do they have full control of operations, where they don't
No,
have to get approval from
No,
the
they
board?
don't, but we work together on everything.
The same sentence I read before, so I'm not gonna read it
We
again.
work together on most of the issues.
The corporation has the responsibility, which does not assign control to you. You, what's it say? In its judgment is sufficient and adequate for purpose of fighting fires, rescue, and saving lives. In its judgment. And that's the relationship here.
Is it your judgment that it would help to alleviate what happened yesterday if the fire board had full control of operations?
Yes, that would make things more clear.
Okay, that's an alteration to the contract that we signed with you.
I think it's an interpretation of that.
It is, and as I said before, I'm not a lawyer, so.
Right.
Gentlemen, I
But-
have a couple questions.
Wait,
I'm Nanette Sheridan, and I'm here on behalf of the Boy Scouts for the Auburn Township. And the two questions I had, it sounds like we're also really caught up on the expense. So do we actually know specifically how much money was in your thought process not used appropriately
as of when?
with not having any coverage yesterday? finding the fire department at fault? Do we actually know?
I mean, quick math would be like $3,500,
Pardon?
3,500?
Is that an estimate or is that an actual detail?
I could take the budget that's public record and divide it by 365.
Okay.
But it goes deeper than that because, well, this will help. Excuse me, I'll show you something.
Okay.
Sorry.
And as you do that, have you ever thought about running for the fire department too then? To be part of the solution? To actually get a better idea of what they deal with?
I would politely argue that this is a pretty good spot to be in to try to fix things.
But you also don't know what goes behind and what is needed to do their job. And
Oh.
also from a volunteer standpoint, knowing that at the same time, they're willing to do something that maybe none of us are willing to do and put their life on the line. From a volunteer standpoint,
ma'am-
and still maintain their personal lives
Right.
as well as a full-time job. And to know that they're doing this on a volunteer basis for this community, that says a lot.
Oh, I agree.
And if we're
I
looking at one isolated incident, and you look at overall what Chief just mentioned with regards to the calls made so far this year, and over the majority of that numbers last year, and they're still dealing with the same number of firemen, that is huge, or less, that's huge.
Let me address your
And
first
then,
question.
no,
Okay.
honey, I'm not done yet.
Well,
I
there's a
heard
lot
what
of- I'll
you
write
had
'em down.
to
Well, let me
say,
write 'em down then, 'cause I don't wanna
but
miss any of
also
them.
want you to know.
I'm gonna write 'em down.
Are you helping with recruitment as well?
I
I
mean,
mean,
if
if
they
we're
need
really
it.
wanting to truly help the fire department and Auburn Township, I would actually expect you as a trustee to be part of the solution, not part of the problem.
So that, question 3. What was question 2? Be part of the solution. Okay, so question 1 was I don't know what they do and their families, and I don't know the job and all that, correct? So you can look it up.
Have you been a fireman?
I actually was an EMT. I worked in DC, it was a very busy area, and I worked in Hudson, Ohio. You can verify that, it's all over Google.
Okay.
So,
Is it at the magnitude of what they do though?
it was busier. Yeah, so bigger magnitude. Is that,
Did you have a family and working full-time,
uh,
in addition to what you're saying?
I mean, it's pretty personal, but yeah, I had a girlfriend at the time. I didn't have children.
Well, I mean, if we're gonna be comparing apples to apples and not apples to oranges, a fair comparison.
I'm not sure I don't know that everybody has I don't know who has a child or not at Auburn. I don't know. I think that's irrelevant. I mean, yes, I'm not,
But if you're gonna go ahead and look at the fire department, I think you ought to look at them as a whole and what they're actually sacrificing on a personal level for them to do what they do on a volunteer basis.
no, I totally get
And we're also
it.
in a society today where volunteering is decreasing substantially, straight across the board regardless of the organization as well.
Okay.
Can I clarify something real? I hear the word volunteering a lot. No one volunteers
They're all getting
anymore.
paid, right?
Everybody gets
Volunteers don't get
paid.
paid.
Yeah, you're
So
right.
these are paid
When I
employees.
started on the fire department 44 years ago, I volunteered. They don't volunteer anymore.
That's just the legal name of the company.
They're being compensated for their time.
Actually, they've changed the company, that's why they got rid of the volunteer. The volunteer aspect of it, the name kept carrying over. And it's still volunteer from the vantage point of they're volunteering to take this job. It's more of a technicality. But yeah, everybody gets paid. Originally, when you had a volunteer fire department, and okay, you had a group of guys, they were all neighbors, and if there was a fire, they would go out to it. But you didn't have people training to be medics or paramedics. The training that's required now for all the various equipment, retraining even for the firefighting aspect of it. I mean, it's a major expense for these people. It's not something, they're just going out and doing, just to be kind or because they enjoy doing it. Yes, ma'am.
I'm Diane Jones. I'm sitting in the front row. I've been listening to the ladies' comments, which have been extensive. Ma'am, would you please repeat your name and spell that for me?
Nanette, N-A-N-E-T-T-E, Sheridan, S-H-I-R-D-O-N.
S-H-I-R-T-O-N.
D as in David, D-O-N.
Wait, I know we got can we clarify this is a very important point. Can we get it on record, clarify, and we'll have time for everybody, but this is very important, that the board, who we entrust with the job, per the contract, that they, effective immediately, so we've got to try something. We have nothing to lose. I mean, the station went unstaffed. So in my mind, I don't care about all the finger pointing, whose fault or not fault, but if we empower the board to take full responsibility of operations, if the board thinks, or even if you think that that's a good step in the right direction, I want to clarify that. And if it doesn't work out, we could switch right back to the
I
fire
just want to
prevention.
pop in one
Please.
quick question to Matt, you can
Sure.
answer for the fire company. If you had full control of the board, would there have been people there yesterday?
Hypothetically, I can't say, right? Because what I can tell you is that we're responsible for yesterday happening.
Yeah. Well, what?
And so we need to be able to do,
Well,
we're
yeah,
gonna
you're
take accountability
taking,
for
I
it. We need
think,
to
just
be
as a
able.
clarification, yeah, you're taking responsibility, of course you are. What were the specifics, were there any specific things that happened yesterday that caused to have zero staffing? Is it,
Our increased attrition, it's summertime, we have part-time employees that we can't mandate to stay at 6 o'clock when their shift is over. We can't mandate them to come in, I mean, legally, could you? Sure, you're gonna lose them immediately, right? We don't have full-time employees inside of the corporation right now. That's a conversation that we're having, because whatever the solution fixes this is what we're gonna pursue.
I know, it's just, I'm fire department liaison, so I meet with them once a month at their board meeting. And, I mean, this is, and again, this is not just an issue with us, it's an issue countywide. And we've been looking at the staffing, and it's been a problem. Now, one thing I think everybody agrees on is we have to get some amount of, at least a basis of full-time personnel in there. And again, now it gets into financially how you do this, and that's kind of what we're working on, the logistics of that. But that's going to be, I think, probably the most significant thing that's going to be able to at least somewhat guarantee that we have at least a base staffing level.
Yeah, there'll be a floor, right? And it won't be improvised at the last minute.
Right.
So before all the questions, and I appreciate it, I just want to clarify, effective immediately, are we in agreement that the fire board will control all operations for the Auburn Fire Department? Do you have any objection to that? Is that fair, given the circumstances, what we've heard tonight, to try to encourage and allow a little bit of more flexibility from the board to attack this head-on? And if the board fails, then we obviously will revisit it, and we're not in any different position, because it was just yesterday that nobody was there.
I'm gonna say it's already there in that number 4 of the contract, which I'll read again if you want. It's already there.
And number 2, agrees to provide fire protection and emergency medical service.
They made arrangements.
Yeah, I'm hesitant to effectively change a contract that already states what you're saying because of the law of unintended consequences. To me, it's there. Corporation agrees, et cetera, et cetera. Number 2, you're right. Corporation hereby agrees to provide fire protection and emergency medical service for the term commencing January 1, terminating at the end of the year, to Auburn Township and such other communities with mutual aid. I think it's already there.
So regardless of how number 6 is written, you're on board that the fire board will be in charge of all operations.
they have the responsibility for it, so
Yeah. Okay.
they have the responsibilities right there.
Is that what we already had in place, Mr. Phillips, or is that something new?
In the contract.
So that's already been in place forever?
I'm inclined to agree with PJ. Mr. Kavanaugh, it's already there.
It's already there.
Yeah, we don't do anything without asking to get money or buy equipment, what we need, the board controls it all.
So moving forward, you effectively in the fire prevention position will have no control over operations. I'm very clear on this, is what I'm looking for, and that's why I'm gonna keep bringing it up till we can get good clarification. Because I want the board to have the tools they need, so to speak, they're managing.
I think they have the tools, to be honest with you. There's nothing that we haven't worked through over the years that wasn't in the best interest of this community. My outlook's always been to work with everybody, our fire department members, firefighters and EMTs, et cetera. We resolve issues and deal with them.
Matt, was it your understanding that the board has always had full control of operations? No input from fire prevention / fire chief as it used to?
No, because when you say operations, there's always been, like, at the end of the day, legally, the board's responsible for it, but operational things have always been the chief's purview, appointing line officers, doing those types of things that are operational.
Okay.
And lately, that's been less of an issue inside, but when it comes to big questions, like, yeah, there still is a corporate board and there's an operations side inside.
So to that point, are we in agreement, and is that clear that the fire board will be in charge of all aspects of operations?
Essentially, we've delegated some of those things to the chief that are basically ours to do, right, as a corporation.
Okay, so as a corporation then, you already established you currently have control, and you then decide which of the items that you're controlling would be best given to the chief to perform.
Right.
Yeah, just to, like, what are, a few examples would be good, just so I'm on the same page. So, appointment of line officers, just ramble off a few other examples that the board will be responsible for moving forward.
The board signs the employee's paycheck. So anything that the employee experiences at work, at the end of the day, is the responsibility of the board. We're the ones who would be accountable for it. If we had an employment issue, we're on the hook for it, not the chief, not the township. If we had any type of workplace related, anything, so line officers is a promotion, demotions, terminations, hiring. At the end of the day, those are all the board's things that have been pretty much delegated to the chief.
And are we going to leave them delegated to the chief, or is the board going to take responsibility for those tasks moving forward?
I think the board has that responsibility now, and we can clarify how that works.
Okay. And does the board have a fire chief, or does the board have a fire prevention officer?
Right now, the company accepts as the fire chief in our bylaws, the fire prevention officer for the township. Like, that's how it exists today.
Okay. But operationally, all operations will be now the responsibility of the fire board without control from fire prevention / fire chief. That's what I want to nail down.
At the end of the day, the board will be still accountable for all of those things, whether they still get delegated to the chief, what that looks like when it comes to staffing, when it comes to recruiting, when it comes to retention, when it comes to all of those things, yes.
Like last week, could you change the line card yourself? Could the board just change the line card?
I'm sorry, what do you think, the line card?
Like, would you change an officer position without,
No, that's never been done, that I know of.
but you can now? This is what I'm getting at. Just to be very crystal clear, operationally, like he said,
Redeveloping those some documents. They redeveloping those some documents. right now, we don't have that authority in our bylaws.
Correct.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's-
so- yeah.
contract versus bylaws is tricky. I don't know that we control the bylaws, we control the contract. As it stands, the contract, we're in agreement that the fire board has complete control over operations.
They have the responsibility. That's the way that reads. I don't think it gets specific enough to point out who has control of what,
It's
but responsibility is certainly there.
That's what I'm trying to nail down, though. I mean, hypothetically, the board wants to, on their own, change an officer position with zero input from anybody else, just a board responsibility. Did you know you can do that according to the way it reads, or is this going to be a change?
This would be a change because
Okay.
we've never done that.
Okay, and you didn't, you never did that, or you didn't really know that you could?
The past practice of that has been that the chief appoints the line officers, and even if line officers are demoted, dismissed, promoted, the past practice of the organization is that the board's never had a hand in that. So that would make it.
But they're crystal clear they are able to moving forward, because that's operational. That's what I'm trying to dig down on here. That's understood, agreed on.
Riley, were there any calls yesterday? Asking these guys too.
No.
Did you have any calls that?
We did
It's
not.
not during that period.
Okay.
Can
You've
you-
admitted and taken responsibility for one day of nobody being there. There was a fantastic in-service yesterday where the Sheriff's Department Geauga Lost Team expected over 200 first responders and their families to get help. 11 to 7 yesterday. If I showed up at the fire station at 11 o'clock, I would have been confident that our guys were at that training session, getting smarter and getting those skills needed to deal with everything that they have to deal with, and their families. That lost team has also done a job fair, trying to get officers and staff for every fire department in this county. They have done an exceptional job of trying to do that with still low staffs at every department. They've accepted it. Let's move to making some minor changes in the future. We need to let them accept responsibility. When our kids mess up one time, we don't change every rule in the book. We don't go back to every rule in the book.
Has it only been one time? Or is it just one time that you got caught?
That's what the county actually asked today, thank you.
I mean, why is it
Zero-
come up all of a sudden? Why wasn't it a big deal yesterday?
Well, that's why at the
unless
very
it hasn't
least,
been going on?
we should be informed. So to your point,
No, wouldn't know. That's the way we put all our trust into them.
we can't help if we don't know. And I only know what someone tells me, and there's no system in place. There is now, somebody, did we nail that down? The board. Moving forward, if it's low staffing under 4, so we'll get to that. I have all the levy information too, because it goes hand in hand with the budget hearings today. So that's a great point, but we can't help if we don't know. And the one-time thing, from having my experience in this field, the what-ifs and all that, very scary to go down that path.
It is.
You know, if something did happen, yeah, Troy was busy on calls, Bainbridge was short, response time's an extra 5-10 minutes, awful. Awful for a 1.3-ish million dollar budget with approaching 7,000 residents, and a guarantee per levy, a new levy, that we will have 4 on 24/7. So if we failed at that, we need to use that money and fix this. Is it getting 2 on? 2 paramedic firefighters, start with 2 on for sure. The $1 million personnel budget, because I look at all these numbers, will cover 2 on 24/7. Do they have the power to start advertising tomorrow morning for full-time?
They advertise daily.
So for full-time paramedic fire, and start to shift that, so we can roll into 2027 with several full-time guys.
That's something we're already working on and we're
Good.
already talking about, but the chief, Vince, we're all on the same page to do that.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the year.
Vince?
Yeah, I just want to speak to this. We're obviously not proud of the situation yesterday. My gut's turned just for the residents. I do the scheduling for the most part. Keith does the majority of it. I control, especially when there's lapse in coverages or lack of coverage. So it's the last thing that we want. And in the reality, we had it, we own it, it happened. I can't change that. I put out text after text. I even got it with the line officers. Nobody was available. I was at work myself. We have a lot of good people that work for this organization, are very dedicated to you, the residents. And we're looking for a solution. We're actually working on a solution. So if we can get to that point, I agree with you that it is a priority decision that we need to talk about. But my frustration was exactly how it went down. There were, things could have gone differently.
Right.
Things could have gone differently.
Well, this is good. I mean, the email system, notifications, it's all at our fingertips now, so we could
should
fix
have
that tonight.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah,
fixing it
don't-
live.
Yeah.
Sorry, sir, I know your hand's been up for like forever. Yes, sir.
Why is it that you want the reports emailed to you rather than have the staffing reports for the fire department emailed to the fire department liaison?
I only want to speak on my own behalf I can't force these gentlemen to look at reports. I've tried encouraging the liaison to make reports. He doesn't. I brought this up before. I can only be responsible for me at the end of the day. I'm 33% of the decisions, but I take full responsibility if our fire station is unmanned. I want to know about it. I don't want it to happen again. I want the people to have all the tools and resources they need that are receiving your tax dollars. And my sworn oath, their sworn oath to protect the public, they can't protect you if the station is empty. That's very serious. And the county made some good suggestions, which I'm going to get to, addressing if this is common, and, well, we'll get to that. So does that answer your question?
It was mostly just on why it has to come to you rather than.
Yeah,
the
well,
liaison.
I would love for them to take
Because it sounds like
responsibility
you
for
want
this.
An adaptation to the description of what the liaison is and does.
There is no legal Ohio Revised Code description for trustee. This fire liaison, road liaison thing we're doing, it's in-house. But the bottom line is, as far as your take responsibility comment, I signed that contract. You signed, well, you didn't, but Mike signed that contract, so yeah, we are responsible. Would I have liked to know that yesterday? Yeah, as I said earlier,
That's good. No, I'm real excited. That's good.
Okay.
No, I like that.
Hold it down, hold it
I like
down.
that. I know, I'm just excited.
We accomplished this over a period of, I'm gonna say, 10 to 15 years from the initial idea of maybe paying people to be in township on call, from that initial idea, to full-time staffing, and many of you saw the addition go up there, which was exactly for full-time staffing to be in that station. So, yeah, this is a regression that we wanna nip in the bud.
That's where I agree you guys should be known, but the liaison is the one that should be getting the phone call of.
That's in-house here.
I'm trying to I want specifics on that.
We don't mind sharing if that's the case. It is what it is. I agree with you. However, that's what we're gonna decide. We're gonna cooperate with that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why I want to nail
I
down.
meet with the fire department monthly. We have our meeting tomorrow. One of the things we always go over is percentage of staffing, availability, where they're at any given time. So, are they ever at 100%? No.
63% of 20. So that's the tricky thing. This is a great segue into the budget hearing today. It was a 63% for 4 people. But in 2020, the levy was pushed through that as a guarantee or valiant attempt at 4 on 24/7. Well, the entire year last year, we knew that what was happening. the budget hearing, the committee does not like to see levies that the tax dollars aren't getting what they voted on. They take it very seriously, especially with contracted fire departments. So I'm here tonight with that knowledge and what I learned today and in 9 months of studying this fire department, so I could try my very best to empower it to fix any issues that are getting worse. I don't know the new percentages and staffing numbers, but as the Maple Leaf had it, a quote I think from Mr. Phillips months ago, it said 99%. That would be one person being in the building, so that's kind of misleading. My goal was, well, we're paying for 4 people, what's that percentage? And that should be 100%. Now, I understand things happen, but we need an action plan or else the levy is defunct. I mean, the levy doesn't make sense if you're not getting what was voted on. And that's the wonderful Maple Leaf. Actually, here's the levy. Some of the quotes I liked in here. We talk about back-to-back calls. Let's see. So Mr. Phillips had a lot of things to say why we needed the levy.
It's still true.
It's still, okay, so we're just talking about adding more people. We're not talking about having 0 on, and it's a big deal that it takes departments longer to arrive. We need to increase staffing. So we pushed through 1.8 mils, which is about 20% of our overall levy taxes, but the fire department's 5.3, almost half of all of our taxes. So for even one day to have 0 people working and have almost half of all of your property taxes on that millage applied to the fire department, I gotta ask these tough questions. That's why I'm here. I wanted to hammer out who's responsible moving forward so this doesn't happen again. Or if it is happening, to reiterate, who's calling dispatch, who's calling the surrounding stations, who's calling me, who's emailing me. So I don't want this to happen one more time. And I don't want one person to be working by themselves, which is pretty common, is that 1 or 2 people, it happens more often than we'd like to admit.
I wouldn't say that it's common.
Okay.
Because we see a 1 and a 0 is almost the same thing, putting somebody out there by themselves.
And that happens though, ones?
It has happened, I couldn't tell you the number.
Is it scheduled to happen again anytime soon?
I'd have to look and get back to you.
Okay. Okay, so yeah, the levy thing, well, let me just bring it up here. Oh, well, before we get to that, Mr. Phillips, full access to the taxpayer camera system. Can the board have full access to the camera system? Username and login.
Our board,
The fire board, not the board of trustees, the fire board.
they got access to it now.
They have full access to the camera system. It's my understanding they don't, so I just want to clarify that. Do you have full
They
access?
can see the camera.
I don't know that they do.
Log
If we
in.
do, I'd have to ask Mario.
Yeah, we'd have to talk to Mark.
He had said they don't, so I'm asking, moving forward, can the fire board,
When you say full access, how do you mean? To log in and see them from home?
whatever you solely have, they should have too, in my opinion, if they're in charge of operations.
I have no problem with that.
No problem.
No.
Okay. So this one's tough. You hate to air out dirty laundry, so to speak, but I'm asking you guys. Facebook website, should there be some sort of resident alert or let residents know, hey, the station is unstaffed and it looks like it's gonna be unstaffed for the whole day? Or we have one person and response times will be delayed, or you're waiting on Troy, Bainbridge, et cetera. You hate to
Yeah,
put
so
that
let's
out
check
there, but.
Facebook when I want to break a leg or have a heart attack.
No, I know, and I agree with that, but if people know that the station is unstaffed, they're not gonna drop a baby off there. Or they're not gonna have you know what a walk-in is?
Roughly.
Okay, so a walk-in is, you think it was smarter or faster for you to drive to the fire station because you live a mile. Well, and you go there and you've just burnt up 5 minutes, 10 minutes of your time, and nobody's there. And you're beeping, you're knocking, all that stuff. But on our website, and their website, it's advertised as 24/7. The levy, everything's advertised as 24/7. So why would, that's bad. So that's a walk-in. Or you drop a baby
Question
off.
for the fire department guys here. When was the last time a baby was dropped off at the fire department?
Doesn't mean it can't happen.
No,
I'm not saying it can't happen.
I don't do
I'm
what
just
ifs.
curious.
No,
Yeah.
never.
Well, what happens when all of the local departments are on an accident?
Mutually call.
The
same thing.
I mean, you almost really have to have real-time information on there, as opposed to saying how much coverage we have, whether somebody's available, whether they're out. Where, you know, how far would you go with that?
I did some math. I mean, from my house to Geauga Hospital, it's less than 15 minutes. It's 13 minutes away. And if you add 6 or 8 minutes response plus drive time from a neighboring, it became faster to drive yourself to the ER, or it can in a real serious situation. Now, you're not going to know that if you don't know that, hey, we don't have a station right now.
So is the question, are we comfortable posting on Facebook or wherever that no one is working at the fire station?
Or there's one and you're waiting on a callback for
I
a
think
second?
we can, our zeros are gonna be rare enough that, sure,
Okay.
that's fine. Sometimes we have one, if somebody calls in sick, if somebody running late, well, now we're getting down a rabbit
Okay.
hole, so I can't chase that.
Right, okay.
Are you proposing to post the staffing on Facebook constantly?
If it's, well, that's what I was asking. Would it be wise if we're at 0 that the station is closed down to let the residents know?
I mean, do you, then if everybody's out on a call, do you change the posting to say there's nobody available because they're all on call already?
And who's free to
How
change
would
that
you-
listing when
If you
everyone's
have-
going out on a call?
If you have 4 on, I'm not sure everybody, does everybody go out on 4 even for a ambulance
So
call?
if someone, if we're out of the station because there's a call, someone rings the call button in the lobby, it goes straight to dispatch, we're immediately acknowledging that whoever's on the call is gonna make sure someone comes and handles that, so.
I don't know that all 4 go out on a singular call. They might leave 2,
If it's a fire or a car accident, we're all going, we don't have enough people,
but if it's a standard ambulance call, 2 or 3, and somebody will stay back.
depending.
Right, I don't know.
I think it'd be a safety issue posting, our people are out, or the station are over here doing this. I don't think any other fire department does that. I
Fair.
think that's a security issue.
That's,
Because you have how many millions of dollars of equipment just sitting there with it now unattended? And you're advertising, hey,
yesterday.
anybody who wants to break in, come steal our shit.
yeah, I don't. So what I learned in the budget hearing, well, you were there.
Was you?
Yeah, so you can see up there. So if the fire company does not provide or have control of fire EMS services, it was a quote, come to the prosecutor's office. Tell them, hey, because this is a major problem. So they take this very seriously. So that was one thing I took from the meeting.
Yeah, without specifics, they kept referring to Bainbridge circa 2013, I believe.
Yeah.
Sure,
I was there for all of that.
And they didn't throw any specifics at us there.
Right,
In
I'm real
general,
versed in the
remember some
specifics
things.
that
Yeah.
the county's attorney had in that case, yes. The word prosecutor in this context stops a lot of conversation, but the county's attorney
Yeah.
did have a lot of input in that, yes.
Well, maybe we all need a refresher course on that a little bit.
Sure.
So we avoid whatever trouble they had over there. I'm gonna ask a real bizarre question here. I mean, we're reading the Maple Leaf, we're doing all this other hypothetical stuff. What plans do we have to get the station back full staff?
We'd like to hire some of our staff full-time. Right now, we have, it's all part-time staff. Some of those are dependables, meaning that they work a scheduled shift. They're not full-time employees, so when they come off shift and we're short, we can't mandate them. It's hard to mandate anybody to come in, and even incentivizing with overtime and things like that isn't effective, because the thing stopping people from working isn't the money, it's everything else in their life. Having some full-time staff will at least give us a floor and give us a tool to mandate people to stay or come in early.
Do we currently have, let's say, suitable people in-house who would consider taking on the full-time
Yeah.
position?
We know we have at least some interest right now that we can do that with, and they're suitable because they're currently working more than full-time hours. They've been doing the job for 5, 10, 15 years already.
What is the roadblock, if any, to make that happen, or advertise or sign them up, like ASAP?
We're trying to get this done by January. So we've already sat down and looked at our budget, looking at how do we employ them, is it a contract, is it this, is that, doing all of the labor things and making sure we get this right before we post it, what healthcare packages look like, making sure we get overtime, FLSA, all those things, all those ducks in a row, so that we get this right and can start it.
Now, man, you mentioned budget.
Mhm.
You know, we had our budget approved back in May or June, that we submitted to the county, and part of that budget was the budget the fire department submitted to us, so that got approved as part of our budget. And in the fire department's budget, it listed it increased 5% from last year, with the addition of $60,000 for a fire chief. Now, is the intention of the board to have a fire chief on January 1 of next year as part of, and will your contract change for next year to include a fire chief?
We're still having that conversation right now, so I can't quite speak to it, but we did set aside money in the event that that's the direction that we go, yeah, or at least acknowledge that there would be an expense.
And then what would that fire chief do?
That's also still what we're talking about. The duties and roles of a fire chief when it comes to supervising and managing the fire suppression operation of the day-to-day business of the firehouse.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Is there a clawback clause in the contract, so in the event that, we're paying them a monthly or a certain fee, fixed fee, and if there should be, as you negotiate another contract, an SLA, a service level agreement with metrics, right? And so those metrics should be a point that is contractually set, so if they meet them, we pay them. If they don't meet them, then there should be some type of clawback clause, because they're profiting off our tax dollars by not paying salaries to staff the firehouse. So just a recommendation from what I've been accustomed to in working with software and services.
Yeah, anything that specific, no, there is not that in the contract. There's some very generalities about non-performance, and what happens in that event, but specifically, like on a day-to-day or whatever basis, no, that is not part of the contract, never has been.
And I appreciate that question too, because it's unfair to throw the fire board under the bus if they don't have full control of our tax dollars. So I want that to be, that's why I keep harping on that. I want that to be very clear that the fire board has complete control. Otherwise, it would be very unfair of us to say that they're in breach of contract if they don't control all aspects of the fire department. So that's why I keep going back to that, because it isn't fair that, when it's convenient, they're responsible, I'm responsible, but he gets the money, and on paper, you were in charge. That's why I very much want that crystal clear moving forward, so the board can immediately do what they need to do. If you relook at your budget, is there money to hire somebody before January? What are those bottlenecks? How can we help? Is it the fiscal office? How do we help? We can have an open meeting about whether the township takes on a few people and our healthcare plan, just to make it happen faster. So anything I can do, I'm willing to work with anyone that approaches me and says, hey, we need help.
Price-wise, that would be the biggest factor, because you're gonna have the same amount of hours working. You're just looking at the additional benefit costs, which can be quite significant.
But the hours change by state to 53-hour work weeks,
Mhm.
and then would offset overtime, which was almost 20% of the personnel budget last year. So you might, I'm not saying you'll offset all of that, but there's 100, 200, 150 grand at least floating around in overtime.
It depends how you budget it or how you're looking at what's
Yeah,
already budgeted.
I view that as available, you know, free cash, so to speak.
Would you still be looking at 12-hour shifts or go to the
ABC?
24, 48?
It's early to say because our meeting's tomorrow where we formally agree on the direction we're gonna go with that. But we're considering whatever works best right now. That's probably the thing that works best.
Is the meeting open to the public?
Yes, I believe it is. It's been clarified.
We have to have a response.
And while we're here, if we announce it as a special meeting ahead of time, I can go because we don't want it to be a quorum unless we advise that ahead of time. You just call them special meetings. So would you be open to calling tomorrow's meeting a special meeting so I can attend? In case something comes up and we gotta dig back in and clarify this?
We have time to advertise that? I don't think so.
Can you record it?
Your meeting starts at 7?
Yeah.
It's open to the public. Huh?
You need 24 hours.
Well, I can still go if we collectively don't make decisions and discuss things, so.
I trust you to not collectively make any decisions. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm not going.
But moving forward, that's how that reads. We can show those meetings as all special if we want, and then all three of us can go and contribute. I just want to be available to help if anything comes up, and we don't have to wait 2 weeks.
Sure. I will take exception to the idea that we're profiting by not staffing. Nobody profits off of this. It's a nonprofit corporation. If we don't spend money on staffing today, we have that money to spend on staffing tomorrow. No one's in this to increase our bank account, right?
Right.
And the purpose of any of us being there is to provide this service for the community the best way that we can. Clawback clauses, things like that, you can get to that. You can also write more W-2s, and that makes all of our lives considerably easier. So we're all trying to get to the right place. We're not trying to hide anything. We've been extremely transparent. Our meetings are open to the public, yep. I've shared information with you about things. You can have access to everything we have here. Anybody that calls with a question, we try to answer. So everything's on the table, whatever's gonna work best for the community. At some point, we do get to that point where, yes, hiring the full-timers may work better as township employees. There's a bunch of reasons that might be more efficient. Getting all the way into those other rabbit holes, it becomes more efficient that you have everybody. And we're not trying to fight against that either.
Good.
So,
I think we're heading in the right direction if we just start looking at, okay, let's get 2 people on there, make sure things are covered. It's gonna take the heat off of you guys, and, I think it'll make us feel a little more comfortable. So as soon as we can implement that, I said wouldn't wait till January. I said, if, we could look at.
that's our goal, and we may break it, we may get there.
If there's anything we can collectively do from over on this side of the road, please, I'll speak for myself, please let me know. And if they want to know too, then we'll work on it.
So to go to that 2-man full-time coverage, if one of the full-times call off, are you gonna call somebody on overtime to make sure it's 2-time?
You could put a rotational in place,
Yeah, that's an easy.
like a 7th, if it's ABC.
That's what I'm asking.
Yes, the details just would need worked out to try to avoid that, obviously. The goal would be not to be in overtime or mandated overtime. Yeah.
Those line items are on the paperwork that need to be discussed tomorrow, as far as what happens if a full-timer calls off. How's that gonna get filled? Is it mandated overtime, volunteered overtime and then mandated? Do we try to fill with part-time? Those are all questions that are gonna get answered hopefully tomorrow, we'll see.
Good. That seems productive. I appreciate it. Thank you. If there's nothing else, that's all from the Fire Prevention Officer's report. Yes, sir.
Just a question, is the contract annual with them?
Oh, actually, thank you. Thank you for bringing that. So,
I have another question. Go ahead.
well, let me, you want me to answer that? So it's here. This gets reviewed initially before we will vote on it in December. Is that right? Maybe October-ish it'll be prepared? Okay. Is that fair to say, around October?
I think we give you 30, I think we give you 30 days in advance.
It's well in advance, yes.
Well, when we get it, it will be made public. Again, and I strongly suggest it's reviewed very carefully, and maybe, obviously by our prosecutor office, because it was specifically not sent to them last year. I don't know why or the details of it, maybe because it's boilerplate.
Well, basically, it was the exact same contract the prosecutor's office had approved the year before, and the only thing they were changing was the dates.
Okay.
And a 5% increase on the,
So this year, the goal would be to have it reviewed, especially if there's, and we can openly talk about all the line items in here, and we can put it on the website and you can access it.
Well, it just seems appropriate that the
Absolutely.
trustees and the fire department work together on a contract that establishes the deliverables that were in the levy. Because they don't appear to be in there, it's item 4, I'm just listening to what was read. That's a very interpretive statement, that it leaves it up to them to decide what is appropriate. And, you know, if you want to keep it that way, you can.
well, based on the discussion we had here, I agree completely. We should definitely have that as part of the contract to clarify that particular section, just to enumerate, okay, who's got whose duties, what they are, so it's clear up front.
I just think you need to start working on that now. It's coming up.
Absolutely, I mean, this is public record, it can be posted on our website as a link, and anybody can grab it, and yes.
Well, I think it should be a kind of a project between board and the
Yes.
fire department to work out how it should look and what's agreeable.
I did almost forget, I would like to, if you're in agreeance, moving forward with this fire prevention officer position, it's not responsible that we don't have timesheets. And at this point, this position is the only position that's on salary. So with everything being scrutinized, and it being budget hearing day, I brought that up, and it seemed well-received that we should have timesheets. Everybody else participates, except that position, and that position is also the highest paid position.
That's wrong.
Dan, is
No
that
annual
correct?
salary.
Dan, is that correct?
What's that?
I'm the highest paid person here?
If you take out the overtime from that I forecast for the road department, you could be, but I don't know.
They make more than I do, though.
Well, it's not about money, I just responsibly, we should have a timesheet.
Everything is about money.
I think it's about public safety, money comes second to me, but
I
we
just
can
would like
agree
you
to
to make
disagree.
truthful statements, that's all.
I'm sorry?
I just would like you to make truthful statements.
I can,
I'm not the highest paid person.
who is?
Road department's got 2 guys, they're hiring me.
With overtime. If overtime didn't happen, just dollar for dollar, what we approved.
They were paid higher than I was last year.
Okay.
Were they not?
So you were scheduled to be paid the most. But if, depending on a what if, they could make more.
Okay.
I would agree with that. So aside from the money, do we, moving forward, should we implement timesheets, which is very responsible for so many reasons, and make a goal to have a job description?
Well, I'm gonna say the form of those timesheets are gonna look a little different than they would at the road department because of the managerial stuff that you do. Yeah, I'm gonna say that the suggestion that you made today was well received. I didn't hear an absolute agreement, but it was well received, I'll put it that way. So, yeah, should there be some form of documentation?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you could, yeah, it says, you know, our company, like, even managerial, I do a timesheet. And basically, it's just a log We have different numbers for, managerial, sales, whatever. And just, it's kind of a tax thing at the end of the year where we implement all that and we kind of track it from a fiscal standpoint, so we know where the hours are being spent. And helps us calculate all the general administrative costs and all the other stuff, so.
And
I think
just-
you'd have to have, maybe make a list of duties, or just general duties. Give me your numbers you put on time, should you have so much is managerial, so much is this, so much is fire prevention, just to spread out the thing. I don't think that would be a big deal.
Tell me what you want.
Yes, sir.
So we're
Are
in
the
general
trustees
agreement.
on timesheet as well?
No.
No, we're not.
No, it's a salary, but
Elected officials, no.
That rules don't apply to us.
Did I hear you correctly? There is no job description currently for this position?
that's correct. I asked for it in January. I'll take blame. I should build one and then we can implement it. But I'm not the liaison. It's not, I'm juggling a lot of things, so I didn't.
Yeah, and I would just suggest that could contribute to confusion on who's actually in charge, right? So if we have a clear job description, we have a clear contract with metrics, I think that would just bring a lot of clarity to the township. If we can just have, the right wording, so folks understand the responsibilities. In the business world, we say one throat to choke. So if this fails again, right, who are we gonna choke, right? So we need to decide that.
See,
So if these things are so important, why were they not established a long time ago, especially when the staff of the fire department was full-time, had full-time employees and that kind of thing? I mean, if we're talking about, well, this needs to be done, that needs to be done, and you look at how long the fire department has been established here. Why is it all
I will not
of a
answer that, because
sudden
I've been actively trying to fix it.
So-
You guys,
Jim Pemberton on record. So in January, February, I requested if he has a job description or a timesheet. And I was told no. I said, well, are you gonna do that? The board said no, you don't need it. So that was brought up in January, February about no timesheet, so you work an hour in a year and still make what he makes. And we have no recourse on that. We have no records of, he put in 80 hours this week and maybe 20 hours the next week. It doesn't work that way.
Needs to be accountability.
absolutely. I've been saying that since January, before January.
Obviously, you guys do not know what he does and how much he does.
No, because he doesn't tell us.
But
Have you asked?
have you asked?
I have.
Would you like to spend a day with him and be able to not have dinner with him, have him go out on calls, have him do all kinds of things? Michael, you know this is true. Because you did it to Teresa also.
We all have jobs.
Well, I understand that this is his job.
Yes.
He is on call 24/7. He answers calls in the middle of the night. He answers calls in the middle of the day.
Okay, that's what he agreed to do.
Be careful with that. He can't do operations like that.
24/7.
I don't want to, putting that on record.
That's what he.
It's not good for Opers.
That's what he's
Not
getting
good for
paid to
Opers and
do.
police fire.
He doesn't want to be on call for
Not allowed to-
24/7.
not allowed to be operational.
Don't do it, resign.
But
Gotta
then
be
you're
careful
looking
with
at the wage that he's getting is very minute.
We'll leave that
It's
for
even
the side.
under minimum
I can't hear you.
wage.
I'll leave that for them to say.
If he's working
Not much.
24/7. He's not working 24/7.
It's a state thing.
Like to take control.
Yeah.
I don't have the answer.
Yeah, well, we're ready. We got it jammed. So that's good. Okay, timesheets, job description. By the next meeting, we can review one.
Does that
Um,
include vacations and sick time, like everybody else? That submits a timesheet?
No, because
Yeah,
he's on salary.
Well, yeah. We've had salaried people get vacation and sick time. I'm just trying to be consistent.
Okay, yeah, you are, I get it.
I mean, I don't.
Yeah, just like it was. just only applied to 1 out of 2 people, so we're,
Yeah,
Fixing that.
our former administrative assistant was salary, and she submitted a timesheet.
Yeah, which we've also gone back to hourly on that too.
And took sick time and vacation, I just.
okay. Well, that's productive, good. Yes, sir.
I have a question for Mr. Troy. Several meetings ago in the beginning of the year, you had, I attended the fire board meeting, and you advised the fire board not to refer to Mr. Phillips as chief. Okay, that's, didn't make the minutes after my request for it, for whatever reason. Do you still stand by that, and what was the reason for that? Statement to the fire board not to refer to Mr. Phillips as chief. Can you explain that?
Well, we've had quite a few discussions on that. We also had the board actually contacted their attorney addressing the issue of whether he could be called chief or not. If you have Keith, you had that.
I'm sorry.
When you contacted the attorney regarding referring to Chief Phillips as chief, what was the attorney's recommendation that,
I'd have to go back into the documents, it's been several months. If my recollection is correct, that we as the fire company can refer to him as our fire chief, since in the bylaws, we're accepting your fire prevention officer as our fire chief.
That's where I thought we left off on that. So there's your answer.
There's nothing at the private fire company level that governs that. Once you step to a township
So you
fire
don't
chief.
stand by that anymore?
Hmm?
You don't stand by that anymore?
No, based on when they had looked into it, they want to call him chief, they're allowed to call him chief.
I have another
That's their
question.
prerogative.
What is the minimum qualifications for somebody to apply for Auburn Fire Department?
240 EMT.
Okay? And that's the minimum, correct?
Now it is, yes.
Do you have that, sir?
No.
Okay. And you're making $126,000 a year,
It's based on what job I do.
fire prevention for the township. You're listed as a volunteer for the department, on record. A volunteer, because you receive no money.
I don't understand your question.
It's not a question, it's a statement of fact. As a volunteer with no credentials, you're acting in blues, the chief being the fire prevention officer. You don't have a problem with that?
No.
Okay.
The job description, we'll clear it up.
Okay.
We'll review it at the next meeting, we got time to work on
Our chief does
it.
not have the minimum qualifications that's required for somebody to be on the department.
Or anybody can have those qualifications and join. It can go both ways. So we should, like,
Everybody has to have them
yeah.
and maintain them according to our own bylaws. I just wanted that to be out there because it wasn't clarified. $126,000 a year. We could be using that money for full-time staff.
Oh, okay. And then I have to ask, can you, I still have an open request with you from January, and then I brought it up in 2 other meetings, and you said you'd get back to me. So we're going on 9 months. I can resend the email, but,
Send it to me.
oh, you acknowledged on record twice that you had the email.
I'm saying, send it to me.
Send it to you again?
Yeah.
And can you
I'll see if I can pull it
work
out.
on it? I mean,
Some of it's due to our computers that we changed, operating
you
system and
spent
stuff.
40,000 on computers. I find it hard to believe that you're having computer problems. I mean, you guys change
Where do you
computers,
get
like,
40,000 from?
is that, well, with the ongoing
I don't
plus?
think so.
I was at that meeting, that's why I remembered, but I mean, you could verify it. If it's 20
Well,
grand.
not only that, but we also got like 16 laptops for nothing donated to the department.
Yeah, but I asked for records retention policy, which should have been simple, but I don't know, I didn't get that. And then,
I thought you had it already.
No.
I was being told you had some of this stuff.
I asked, well, anyways, fire prevention inspection records that you yourself did for 23, 24, 25, and you throw 26 in now and drop 23 off, whatever. The plan you have in place for 2026 for fire prevention, mainly because the amount of taxpayer money involved here in that position, I was just genuinely curious what is happening around town. That's a fairly obvious question. And then where you could show me the objectives, goals, or plans for prior years for fire prevention. So that's what I had sent in January, and I would very much appreciate if you could respond to that
Okay.
when you get a chance.
I'll get what I can to you.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions on this topic?
Again, Diane Jones, the gentleman in the back row with the green and white cap. I'm not sure that I caught your name. If you could provide that, please. And your office or responsibility. I believe you're the one. No, the gentleman next to you with the blue cap.
I'm
Yeah,
Vince
sorry.
Valerio.
I'm sorry?
I'm Vince Valerio.
Valerio. And your office, sir?
Yes.
Yeah, are you a
Yes.
citizen or are you,
I'm sorry?
yeah.
He's-
What is your area of authority?
Which
Who
I'm-
are you?
No, I'm not assistant chief.
He's the assistant chief and he is a resident.
He is the assistant chief.
And I'm one of
Thank
the
you.
residents.
That's all I needed. Thank you.
Okay, trustee reports. DJ?
Yeah, I'm gonna go through mine in double time. Oh, it was nice to be invited by Scout Troop 101 for their organizational meeting yesterday at the park. And ended up doing a walkthrough on the buildings there for, Christine's putting together a list for hiring a pressure washer to come in and spruce these places up. It's been a minute. Parker building needs some work, but the pavilion looks great. I'm not sure why the birds haven't found that yet, but it looks good. And you guys all got a printout probably of veteran services and some money available for Memorial Day ceremonies. Gonna get with George Petridge from over here across the cemetery. He's in the first house. He still is nominated, that's who runs this, is our veterans group, and he's been at the head of that for the last few years, especially since Jake Tretheway's moved out of town now. So we'll get with him and we'll make an application for that. That just came in here a week ago. Everything else is on the agenda, so I'm moving on.
You want to approve the payment of the paving?
You wanna do that now? Sure. It's on the agenda there too, but we could get to that.
I think there's some signatures. too.
There's a lot of them, actually. I sent down, Dan, I don't know why I didn't get 4 copies, I got 3 of some of the add and deducts from that contract.
That's everything that Christine gave me that
Okay,
the
well,
engineer's
there's,
office brought.
you want another copy, we'll get you another copy, but,
Me?
yeah, you. Additions are, as we've discussed publicly, primarily at White Oak and Auburndale. That had to be reconstructed because that was a former ditch that got converted into a road. Total additions, $67,968. And then there was a whole series of deducts. I'll read through a few of them here. Guardrail, we used a little bit less material. Used a little bit less material. That's the bulk of it. Anchor assemblies must have used a few less of those than they estimated. Total deductions, $47,681.50. So the net is $20,000, approximately $300 over the original contract, which was, I believe, 1.2 million, wasn't it?
1.207.
Yeah.
So your car, question for Dan. You had a correspondence with the, you had a question on that, did you get that clarified from them?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
I was reading the number wrong.
Okay, and this is from the engineer's office. Enclosed find the documents related to the payment of referenced invoice. This office requests the board approve the contract adjusting change order, and that's all this paperwork I'm gonna pass around. For the project, please approve and execute all 3 original copies. Upon approval, 1 original copy each is for the contractor, our office, and the township. Change order is for adjusting work items completed based on actual placed and accepted. This change order, and that was some pretty good math, quick on my part, results in a net addition of $20,286.50 to the contract. Please also have the Township Road Liaison sign the work supplement number 1 document. And that was for the White Oak and Auburndale addition and work we just discussed. And most importantly for our contractor, this office recommends payment of the Okay,
The
well,
engineer's
there's,
office brought
you want another copy, we'll get you another copy, but,
me,
yeah, you. Additions are, as we've discussed publicly, primarily at White Oak and Auburndale. That had to be reconstructed because that was a former ditch that got converted into a road. Total additions, $67,968. And then there was a whole series of deducts. I'll read through a few of them here. Guardrail, we used a little bit less material. Used a little bit less material. That's the bulk of it. Anchor assemblies, must have used a few less of those than they estimated. Total deductions, $47,681.50. So the net is $20,000, approximately $300 over the original contract, which was, I believe, 1.2 million, was it?
1.207.
Yeah.
So your question for Dan, you had a correspondence with the, you had a question on that, did you get that clarified from them?
yes.
Okay.
I was reading the number wrong.
Okay, and this is from the engineer's office. Enclosed find the documents related to the payment of referenced invoice. This office requests the board approve the contract adjusting change order, and that's all this paperwork I'm gonna pass around. For the project, please approve and execute all 3 original copies. Upon approval, 1 original copy each is for the contractor, our office, and the township. Change order is for adjusting work items completed based on actual placed and accepted. This change order, and that was some pretty good math, quick on my part, results in a net addition of $20,286.50 to the contract. Please also have the Township Road Liaison sign the work supplement number 1 document. And that was for the White Oak and Auburndale addition and the work we just discussed. And most importantly for our contractor, this office recommends payment of the invoice in the amount of $494,080 to Phillips Paving. This invoice is for work completed on the project July 1 to July 31. A final invoice. Payroll reports to date, performance evaluations are also enclosed. Okay, so I'm gonna make a motion to make that payment to Phillips Paving for $494,080.
I'll second.
TJ,
Yes.
Riley,
Yes.
Michael.
Yes.
Okay. This is all 3 of us in 3 different places, so let me get that down and send it down. Okay, those are the important ones.
Thank you, sir.
I'll suss out these here, because some of these are just me.
Do you have the contractor evaluation? Am I reading that right? I was just curious what they are, because,
Yeah, they're all in here.
okay, Pat, if.
Some of them, I gotta.
Originals?
Yep,
All right,
these
yeah,
are
pass them,
originals.
I'll give them right back, I just want to look at them.
Well, they're gonna end up with Dan. Let me
Okay.
just- There's a few of them I gotta sign.
their contract evaluations for the road work, it caught my eye, so I was gonna look at that. So I know that was one of your questions, do I go and check the road work?
The county engineer inspector assigned to this project was Elijah Haller. He's been there quite a while. That's who's on top of that project daily, as it was going on.
Interesting.
Yeah. This is what you're looking for. You might want a copy of that if you want, because
Yeah.
it's pretty extensive.
I'm not gonna go over this now, so it's,
No.
I'm waiting on you.
No, everything's going back to Dan. I think we're done.
Okay.
I think I hit everything here. I think that's it. And very often you sign up for $1 million worth of work before you even finish paying off the last $1 million worth of work.
Anything else, PJ?
No, no, that was, yeah, my report's over. That was just on the agenda, so we did what we did.
Riley, anything additional?
For my report tonight, there's a few quick things I'll go through here. Number one, we all signed, J.D. Crowley is working on a project for the Eagle Scout program, and he needed an authorization that funds that he raised can be held by him or his parents in this case. So we had, it was a formality, but we had to authorize that because their rules state that money they raise, they can't hold. But in this case, he has to because the company advertising for the bricks for his walkway, they do all the advertising and collecting the money and show him live what they're receiving. So when he hits his goal, we can order the bricks. So I wanted to talk about that because it's a great project and I'm eagerly awaiting to buy a brick. So that should be coming soon. So we all signed that authorization. That's just a quick one to get out of the way. Spectrum, we are switched to fiber from the fiber side of things. And the phones, some things are changing with the phones. We didn't quite know before. I asked our administrative assistant, that phone there, it would be really neat if it was handheld. Apparently it gets used a lot and you're not restricted. For years and years you've been restricted to your desk. So I brought it up. I said, well, what if we can get Spectrum to give us a handheld phone? And it was a well-received idea, so they are re-quoting and working on the phone side of this, which is slated to go in this Thursday. So before I e-sign the documents, for the first 36 months of service, the 4-phone system with the handheld and our fiber internet is $253 monthly for this building. That's the enterprise system. If it goes down, we get priority, unlike the residential side of things. So there's a lot to the enterprise system, but I needed to clarify and I wanted to bring up the correct cost as $253 per month. And then some of the phone cost will drop off down to $228 for the remaining 24 months of service on a 5-year contract. So I would like to make a motion for our building phone system and our internet at the cost of $253 per month.
Is that, now are we basically buying those phones over a period of time and then we own them, or?
Yes, I believe we own the old ones. They are not cross-compatible. We have 3 out of the 4 in-house. The 4th one, the handheld, the cool one, we are waiting on, so hope it should get here before Thursday, I hope. We will own these new phones, I believe, after 3 years. That's why the price drops per month.
Now, wait a minute, let me do a count here. We got a phone in the back. Is that included in the
Zoning?
zoning office?
Yes, sir.
Okay, there's one in Dan's office.
Yes.
There's one up here in this
Correct.
office. There's one right behind Logan, or it used to be over there on the wall.
Yeah.
Is that still there?
I don't even, yeah, that one's not counted in. If you want me to add a 5th, this is the time to do it.
Well, and there's one, isn't there one?
That's the
back
big,
here?
that's the one with the handheld. That's the important
Okay,
one.
all
Or
right.
hopefully it'll be really cool for whoever.
Aren't they all handheld?
Where you can walk around the building.
Cordless?
Cordless, yeah.
Yes,
Thank you.
cordless.
Yeah.
But that one,
Is that still, yeah.
you want to pick that up for me, sir, and see if it has a dial? They probably has a
I've never
dial
seen
tone.
anyone use it.
Yeah.
You know when that gets used? You know when that gets?
All right.
Do you know when that gets used, Dan? Is when we get a phone call during a meeting. That's the first place everybody sprints to, is to go answer
Oh.
that.
It even said meeting room on it.
Yeah.
We can go, I think we can go there and probably save a couple bucks. But if you want a 5th phone, I'm happy to requote it. It would change.
And then I always respond to checks in the mail, so, yeah.
Well, the handheld, or
Cordless.
the cordless would probably eliminate the need for that one.
Probably would, yeah, I think you're right.
Should be a neat upgrade. So, yeah, the motion I would have is to approve our phones and internet for this building at the monthly cost of $253.
I'll second.
BJ,
Yes.
Riley,
Yes.
Michael.
Yes.
Okay. We're running out of time. I wanted to see who can volunteer for the downtown Cleveland meeting, to reply to that email before. I can't. I literally start school the day that one of us is supposed to go downtown, or I'd be more than happy to.
Is that, what's the date on that, the 26th?
September, yeah, I just,
September 26th and 9:15.
yeah,
Yeah, I already told Tanya that I'd go.
okay, I didn't see that, so I wasn't included in that for some reason.
I don't know, you just, you came through and I said, yeah, I could go, so.
Okay, all right, that's good. I just wanted to not lose track of that.
Yeah. no
Okay,
problem.
great. So
Already
you're,
took care of that.
so you're going, okay, cool. Cemetery. So we're all eagerly awaiting to go live with our GIS cemetery system. We are the, I believe, second in the county that will get cut over to that. The timing was really good, just to give you some background. The sexton and I are working through getting the credentials to be able to accept the handshake, where we can start modifying and doing things on our own when the system's ready. So we're at that phase. So we're getting close. And I just wanted to let everybody know, because I think I had mentioned July, August was a goal, but the county's got a lot going on, so they're behind, but we're moving forward with it. So that is the cemetery. Does anybody have any questions about that, or curious how the GIS works? Yes, sir.
We used to have monthly reports from the sexton. I haven't seen those in months.
There was one came last meeting, we had one that it was just a written one,
Okay.
and I think we folded that into the minutes.
Yeah, we're just gonna post those. I'm happy to read them or post them. That one, I didn't have the physical copy for some reason, so I got thrown off with my list of
We had a
to-dos.
lot of emphasis on that at the beginning of the year, and I hadn't heard anything lately.
I read the one before that, which would be June, and I think the first one we got might have been June. So, yeah, that's my fault. I lost track of it because it got printed out. Won't happen again.
As long as you're getting information, that's.
Yes, that is the important part. The accountability is there. There's several people that get the information, review it, We could match up numbers, we could match up all sorts of things, which we didn't, we had no view into that before, which was a big deal to me. We didn't have our deed books in the building, so on and so forth, which were required by law. All that's fixed. So we're in a great, great spot compared to where we were. You're welcome. Lastly, so this is a big one. Input is extremely welcome. So, as you know, several roofs have been put on Adam Hall over 15 years, according to my, which I forgot, the old records. And we had a harsh winter, but the damage is not going to recede unless we're proactive. It's complicated because a standard roof likely is a big gamble, and it's not going to fix this recurring damage of icing and pushing water down the walls, which is messing up drywall, tape, paint, all sorts of stuff. So I am tasked with that as well, and it's winter's coming soon. So to summarize, I had asked for help months ago, and I couldn't get help. So the project, I took it back in front of me more recently. We worked for some advice with the prosecutor, and we knew this would be very complicated because we ourselves have never structured an open bidding process.
That's not true.
I asked that question at the meeting.
That's not true.
So you built a bid?
Yes.
Oh.
We hire professionals. And I suggested one to you, and you took my advice and ignored it.
No, that's false.
You succumbed to a resident calling the person a slick dude. That's what you did.
Who? Who?
A resident to make comment.
No, who's the contractor?
Jim Dixon.
What's his phone number? Because you said
I said Nancy has the contact in the office. I don't carry it with me.
No, that's not how this went down.
That's exactly how that went down.
No,
That's
good thing-
exactly how that went down.
Good thing it's all on record. So what happened was with that, you said you weren't sure where he was at.
No, he's in Pennsylvania.
He's in
And
Pennsylvania,
Yes,
okay.
and he's the one also that
Okay.
was our construction manager for the fire station, for the road department, and for, finally, the pavilion at the park. I gave you the guy's name. I did not have the number handy with me. I told you to see Nancy, who was still here at the time, and due to public pressure, you backed away.
What am I pressured on?
He's a slick dude, Riley, and you seem to take that advice and
Who's?
coward.
I don't even understand what that means.
Okay.
Somebody told me a guy from Pennsylvania is a slick dude.
Jim Dixon
Someone
number
told
is
me
in
that.
that office, and I told you where it was. I said, see Nancy.
So if someone tells me something, what are you guys saying? I'm responsible for what somebody told me. That doesn't.
Source. Call the source.
This guy in Pennsylvania, that he didn't have his cell phone number or any number. I asked.
It's probably still in the office over there.
In the office.
I'm like blown away by that. So.
As much as you
Yes,
Google
you
and
are.
find it.
So he got paid a lot of money. I could bring it in at the next meeting. He actually got a lot of money to fix that building, and he didn't fix it. So that's actually the truth, why I wouldn't go and chase him down in Pennsylvania.
Oh, so that's the second truth. All right.
Yeah, it's on paper, I can give you that. Yeah, the first one about slick dude, I don't know who told me that, or how that affects my decision-making skills.
I do. It's in the minutes.
I remember that meeting. I was here for that one.
Well, so what makes me not want to go find the guy in Pennsylvania because somebody said he's a slick dude?
Because we didn't need him, Riley. You took control of that. And you based your bid process on Newberry Township's landscaping bid. I remember you telling me that here, which is something that doesn't even require to be bid. So we've been all over on this, Riley.
Yeah, so I luckily, I'm openly here to talk about solutions. So I do have a better solution than what it could have cost to fix that the right way. That would not require bids. So my question now becomes, do you want to look for, how do we advertise for additional quotes? Are we not advertising at a sealed bid program any longer if we change the scope of the work that we only repair what's leaking? Now, to your point, I inherited a lot. This is my first year. That leak and that problem is your guys' problem for 3 roofs. And I'm not gonna put my name on the 4th roof and spend $40,000 to $80,000, which is what we were quoted last year, before I got here.
Why do you think that didn't happen?
Well, you had quotes and you didn't act on them.
That's right. Why? Because I wasn't gonna do it either.
And we just destroyed the walls in the building, and it's gonna happen
I wasn't
again.
gonna do another, you know.
I wasn't here though, so who should have done that?
We had a facilities liaison for about 4 years.
Cool.
After I gave that position up.
Well, to my point, this is my first year to handle this problem, and I'm gonna handle it. So the solution is, instead of the bidding process on the whole roof, when it's compartmentalized, some of it's newer, some of it's not leaking, I went back to a company and asked, can you just focus on where we have active water leaks, which actually saves us possibly a ton of money. And the question is, it gets us under the bid threshold to fix what's actually broken. So I'll admit, there was a better solution from the start, and if I wouldn't have got slowed down on the bid process, which I'm happy I learned a ton about it, I think I could still do it if I have to. Especially we have AI now, so it can pretty much build out a lot of these programs. But I'm more excited that I can save taxpayer dollars and just address the leaks and the ice problem before this winter. So.
Do you have any idea how far the ice guard went up
Prior?
prior?
It could be, we could just say it's the whole roof's ice guarded, it doesn't matter, it's still leaking. But I should have that in the packet of old quotes or old completed jobs, which includes your, what was his name again, the guy from Pennsylvania? I don't even know.
Dixon.
Dixon. He is in there that we quoted out, this is by memory here, but we had him go and rectify the issue and paid him, and he caulked a bunch of stuff. I have it, I'm happy to bring it in or whatever, and it didn't fix it. So I don't know how much, I have to add up all the money, but we're like a lot of money into this roof. It's gonna cost, we have money slated. Was it 100,000, Mr. Masco, or?
We have money, yeah.
I'm gonna come in far under that, and we have the NOPEC money, which we need to spend $14,369, which is why I asked to leave this on the agenda every week so we know to spend it. So, yeah, so I'll just put this up here, and you guys could advise if you want to call a bunch of roofing companies and see what they propose. But this is a better resident solution. It fixes the problem.
What's the problem?
So, I'd have to dig into my photos a little bit here, but there is ice damming, significant ice damming happening. The problem is when that building was, did your guy from Pennsylvania build it?
No.
Okay, he managed the build?
No.
So he had nothing to do with this?
Not the original.
Just fixed, we just paid him once to fix it and it didn't get fixed. I'll show you.
Let me go back to ask that question again. What's the problem?
So we have significant ice damming. Why this is happening, I was actually there with a contractor to visually, myself, boots on the ground, see a smoke test, which shows you how your ventilation works. You need drafting on a roof to keep the deck lid cold, or else the snow melts and creates ice on the bottom, and that ice pushes under the shingles or blocks the natural flow. Down by the gutters, by the eave especially, this is happening. So we had a harsh winter last year, but the damage has been happening. But it really showed itself and started popping drywall. The ceiling stained. We have a video. The soffits are about 3 feet deep, and they were thousands, not hundreds, thousands of pounds of ice frozen solid down the soffits. I don't know if you ever saw that when it rained. Were you ever there when it starts to thaw, Mr. Fenstermaker? Tons of water. Well, that frozen water then just drops out of the soffits. So I don't know what other kind of problems it's creating in the walls.
What did the smoke test show you?
The smoke test showed that the smoke is being pushed back in. In reality, your roof at home, what the goal would be is that the vent drafts from your soffit and it will pull cold air across the deck lid of your attic and out the ridge vent on the top. So the smoke test would clearly show the smoke vacating the ridge. Instead, it's pushing the smoke back in. So there's positive negative pressure differentials that are causing this, but mainly because it's not vented correctly. It never has been. So the Hail Mary to fix this is a newer technology that was presented months ago here, a cold roof. What that allows, plywood and foam, which acts as an insulator, and it will allow a secondary method for drafting to keep that deck lid cold. Now, this isn't my specialty, but I'm trying to explain it the best I can here.
Nobody argued with you. Potentially, that's right. Did anything come up with heat loss from the HVAC in the attic?
Huge contributor. So there's a handler up in the roof, and the venting not working, or the venting system being designed incorrectly, because this building was built around an original structure in 2002. It probably shouldn't have been. The contractor screwed that up. It's water under the bridge at that point. It's 4 roofs in, it's our problem now. So there's too many walls and compartments in the attic, which I saw myself, which doesn't allow for a positive draft out the ridge vent. So short of ripping the entire roof off, which you all can imagine how expensive that would be, there's a cold roof technology, which a local contractor explained as, hey, this will work. We've done this. We're experienced with them. We crawled around for 2 hours dropping ceiling tiles like this, looking everywhere we can, seeing all these problems. And I'm tasked to fix it. So that was the presentation months ago. That was the scope of work I wanted to run with the bidding process. Present that, hey, if there's any other qualified contractors that do cold roofs and can do them like this, give me bids, but I don't know that I can pull off that whole bidding process before winter hits. And it's really up to you guys if you want to just roll the dice and let the damage go one more time and try to do it next year. You already waited 1 year. You had the quotes last year.
That wasn't the repair that we needed. Okay, I'm not sure what that comment meant, but I was intrigued by your cold roof method.
Not my method, it's a contractor's method.
Okay, I'm intrigued by that. I think that's a potential solution there. You're gonna lose some of that heat on what essentially is a second.
Oh, no. Oh, I get your question about, no, you won't. So you're adding insulation on plywood. You're actually, you're gonna keep all the heat in the building better. It's more efficient. You're creating a secondary layer that's creating its own draft to create.
Right. So the heat's not being lost directly to the roof shingles. It's going,
Yes.
I get it. I know what you're talking about.
Good.
And I see that as a potential solution here. My regret is that you didn't take some advice and work with a professional and with our prosecutor's office earlier on in the game, where we could probably be open at bids now.
So the cool thing is, on record, I asked you guys, hey, have you done this before? We talked about it.
And I told you what to do, and you didn't ignore it.
I don't know this guy from Pennsylvania, I really don't. And aside from that, luckily, there is by slowing this down, there's a better solution that will save taxpayer dollars. So I'm feeling real comfortable with the situation, provided I had 9 months to attack it and you had 24 years and 3 roofs to attack it. So I'm putting this all on my shoulders.
And I'm not sure what you're proposing.
I asked for help. Yeah, and I'm
So
gonna get it done.
basically, you're looking at just repairing the existing roofing where it needs repair?
Yeah, so for you, sir, I should have saw this before, but, yeah, you want pressure to pull from your ridges, or from your vent, or from your soffits through your ridge like this. Instead, we're getting airflow pushing back down. These are turning into solid ice, and then when it thaws, it just rains. Around 2 perimeters of the building, it just pours water, just gallons and gallons, and creates giant mounds of ice that you fight, so people don't walk around and crack their head open, because we've got ridiculous mounds of ice. I mean, 6, 8, 10-inch mounds from all that water sitting there. So there's several issues going on with this. I don't know who is first. You guys decide.
For a few $100, you could get enough heat tape to put around the edge of that.
We've done
Just
that.
gotta keep it.
It's all there.
Doesn't handle it.
Yeah, we got heat tape under that to take care of the problem.
That's been sitting there for I don't know how long, and it's not. You can't even tell that it's there. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They got the GFCIs replaced last year. It didn't make a difference. So I mean, I'm open to suggestions, but they all got replaced. Yes, sir.
How are you you introduced to the contractor you went up with and said, this is your problems and here's how to fix it?
This gentleman has signs all over. Conveniently, I'll admit, I have known the guy for many years, but I am extremely excited if we could put the scope work on our website, if you want to set a date for just asking if people want to come look at this and give us quotes. And as you know, I said this earlier, I'm 33% of the vote, so I'm more than happy to present whatever I can and hopefully get some input from the team here. But no, you're going to start with somebody you know that can do something specialized. It's my understanding not everybody does this, but I'm happy to go and search for them now that I have a new bearing on this where I think we can get it done before winter hits if we want, without the whole bidding system, by just focusing on the problem.
So this guy already turned in a sealed bid to redo the roof, right?
Yeah, which is, we didn't ask him to do that. I think he misunderstood when we said we're gonna look for sealed bids. That's been in Dan's office for months. It's still sealed. It's defunct, it's trash.
Okay.
He just did that, and because I told him, I said, look, I don't want to be involved with the money side of things. For clarity, just, we're going to get bids, seal them, open them. But now, I'm not separating the job, and if we can come in under the bid threshold and get what is broken fixed, that's an immediate win, and we can still look for other people that want to do the job for less, which I encourage. We just got to make sure they can do the job. Because I do not want this leak to happen again once we repaint the ceilings, check for mold, or whatever we have to do. I don't want to do it again. It's happened 20 years now. We've had issues. It's just getting bad, worse.
So you're gonna fix the town hall too? Their soffit's falling apart.
Yeah, that needs a roof
Go
too.
ahead.
We might have money left over for that. That roof could probably be.
I don't care about the roof, the soffit that's hanging down that can fall on somebody while they're walking by.
The soffit.
Right outside the door across the hall, across the street.
I didn't see it, but I'll go tomorrow and look at it. Maybe I can nail it back up. I don't know. I didn't see that, just to be honest.
It's there.
Yeah. Yeah. Somebody up? Yes, sir.
Warranty on it?
I think it's 5 years or 10
guarantees?
years. So.
If they do a partial though, they're gonna guarantee the partial. The reason I'm asking around it, because I think when he said he'd give 10 years and he's a resident, he would probably honor it past the 10, that's doing whole roof.
I'm happy to.
Yeah, that's the cold roof thing, which, as I said, I'm interested in that. To put this in road terminology, Riley, it kind of sounds like you're looking at a patch this year as opposed to a reconstruction. Would that be accurate?
No, because it's my understanding the addition on the corner where the generator is, that's a lot of square up there. That's a lot of square footage. How old is that? That's not 30 years old. It's not
No,
20
it's
years
not.
old. It's 10, 15.
Yeah.
Okay, so that quality shingles up there at a half-life. Yes, I'm trying to preserve shingles that aren't bad, I'll admit. The other option is to push for a sealed bid, and we could spend a lot and then get the whole roof done, but I don't know that that makes sense if we've got fairly new roof doesn't have problems. So the ice damming, the problems are down, the two perimeter runs like 60 feet maybe on the west and east sides of the building, just to put it in perspective. But there's a giant overhang facing the east that would not get done, so it's just gonna focus on the main center of the building, which was always the problem from the start when it was built. That hasn't changed. So yes, we're just attacking the problem head on. It's still expensive because you're talking tearing up all the old roof, putting down all new plywood, special plywood that has venting and insulation attached to it, and then ice guard, synthetic membrane, and new shingles on top to match. And I did ask, like, hey, can you match it really, really well? And he said, yeah, and we'll sample to sample and look at both. So I'm asking those questions to make sure that, not as a patch, but as a permanent solution, my name's not on this ice pouring or water pouring in the building anymore. I want to fix this.
How long are the shingles on there now?
I don't know that the generator part, which would be the southwest corner of the building, I don't know if all the shingles were done at the same time or if they just matched those in.
Yeah, I think they just did the addition. They didn't do the whole roof.
So the part that we're having problems with is the oldest, I'm guessing. But see, I'll bring in, at the next meeting, I'm gonna bring in my book of old receipts and stuff that were up there that I found. Because there's been 3 roofs, I believe, so I mean, something has to be pretty recent. Unless, yeah. So I'll bring that in. Sorry, I'm not prepared with that. I didn't.
Yeah, I can tell you the history of the roofs there. When when that building was donated to us, it was leaking pretty bad, and when Al gave it to us, and of course we rehabbed that. We took the posts out, did the steel beams. As Mr. Patagimas was living right next door, which, in hindsight, yeah, maybe we should have bulldozed it, as Damon Braun came up here and said one night. But when the donor's living right next door, don't you kind of look not very grateful? I mean, I'll just throw that out there. You guys have your own opinion on that. I wouldn't have liked the look of that when Al was living there. So we put a roof on it then. We did a re-roof, just a re-shingle over there so we could start the construction on the inside.
And then anything since then?
Oh, yeah, that's the first one. The second one was when we actually did the gazebos and when the construction got done. When we added the kitchen bathroom area to the back, the whole thing was redone then, completely, 100%. We experienced this same ice dam problem from the get-go, because we had an architect on it, we had an engineer on this. He's no longer living in the area, but HVAC I don't think was his specialty, in hindsight. And that's where that's what's happening here, is there's heat loss at the peak, which is, I could show you the pictures, you remove the snow from the peak, but it stops and it melts as soon as it hits the wall, the exterior walls, and maybe before that even. It backs up beyond that. So any patch job is really not going to correct that. That's been done over and over and over, which is why when Riley's, contact brought in this cold roof method, that looks interesting. That might work. As opposed to starting over and changing the pitch of the roof, I think it would be quite a bit cheaper and more affordable to give this method a try, this cold roof. But that's not what you're talking about now. You lost too much time here dawdling on this when you could have found an expert.
I love that you said that. So I'll give you the timeline. So, because I email things, so on record, our administrative assistant that no longer works here, I asked her very clearly and I gave her all the documents, examples of Manaway Township, and I was naive. I thought the administrative assistant's job was to help with things after we went over this at the meeting. And she said, no. I said, okay, well, I'm on my own. So I've accomplished many tasks in that time, and I sat here and I started to think, well, our new administrative assistant, I hate to just slam this on her and require her to create a bid since we've never done this before. So I didn't. And time went on, and I said, man, you're right. I said, I really got to figure something out here. So then it dawned on me, what if we just fix what the only problem is that we can find, where the leaks are. And that became a win to me, because we'll save significant money on some other roofs a major part of the roof that is not that old. And I think we can get it done before winter, unless, like you guys let it happen, not me, you had quotes last year and you didn't act on them. So this dawdling comment is really funny.
For a patch. I'm just going to go to your email because that seems to be where...
Thank you. Excellent. I like it.
Yeah, you contacted our prosecutor's office about some information, looking for some information, July 24th.
Okay.
Riley, July 24th. But we want to have it in the paper to open on the 17th of August. Come on.
What open? The building's open, what are you talking about, the town hall?
No, we're gonna bid this out, and we're gonna open bids on the 17th of August.
Oh, that was the goal, well.
Well, yeah, and you started on July 24th.
Yeah, less than a month ago. Yeah.
Yeah, why didn't we start on this in, I don't know, your guy was in here in February, I think.
Yeah, well, like I said, without going into all the details, our prior administrative assistant would not help. And I really didn't want to slam the severity of a project on the new administrative assistant. And since I understood the technicalities of it fairly well, here I am with time to spare to get it done. And let me remind you that you've had the multiple roofs over the last couple decades, not me. So I'm not sure.
I'm looking for the solution, not the patch this time.
So back to what I started with, so the solution is to address the section that is leaking into the building, or we could spend twice the tax dollars and just do the entire roof that doesn't have problems because it doesn't have the air handler, it tested fine, it's venting okay. So I like this as a responsible use. But if you want me to get bids and get the whole roof to cost, I'm happy to go back to that. But I will admit, I have it all documented. I built the scope of work. I looked at Manaway Township. They had a really good, similar sealed bid system. I had everything laid out. I sent it in, and the answer was no. I had no help.
If we're looking
That's
at.
I should have, I guess I didn't want to cry at a meeting and say, the administrative assistant that's no longer here is refusing to help me. I'm doing the best on my own.
Riley, this patch down, if you do this patch down, can they do okay with the rest of the roof when they redo it then? Or is that, you're gonna have to do it all over again?
So it will, the edges, I guess, that's a good technical question. The edges, let's see if I have an example here. They'll get spliced, so to speak. So this section, if you've been in there, obviously, the main hall, right in the center. Both of those perimeters, everything above you needs done, and then the opposing gables and eaves will get spliced to that. But as that gets tore up, plywood gets inspected, ice guard goes down, synthetic, everything, just like a new roof or a normal roof, as they would merge those. I would feel comfortable considering what we have now doesn't work. And this is a tried method with where he has examples, I mean, or maybe everybody has examples I could drive to and physically ask the homeowners and make sure, yep, it worked, they've been on there for several years. That's all things I'm more than happy to do, and we have time if we're not doing the bidding to get the whole thing done at an exorbitant cost. So I think it will merge together fine.
Okay, you don't think the other part would have to be done in a few years?
Well, that's why I will at the next meeting bring all my documentation for the old roofs. I did not bring that. But if those are 10, 15 years old, like we're kind of thinking, then you still have life in them. Half-life.
Not even. We'll replace them when 17 years old.
Yeah. A lot of the newer technology, if it's 10, 15 years old, some of them are rated 50 years, 40 years, 30 years. But seldom do I see 20-year shingles going on unless they're really cheap now. But that's something we can get more advice on. I'm fine with that. So yeah, I appreciate that question. I'll get more details.
How many squares do you think it would take to do what we need to do for the leaks?
Let me see if it's here before I do math. Times 3. I want to say this is, from memory, I think those sections stand at around 50 to 60 square. I think the whole building might be pushing 100. I haven't thought about that in a while.
That seemed about right, you're talking about a 60-foot span.
30 feet, 30 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm happy to get clarification, because we've got time. You're splicing, it is a lot of money, so I want to be careful with this, and yes, I'll admit things got screwy as I reached out for help. I understand the scope of sealed bids very well. I could probably jam it out, but I don't know that it's necessary now. Splicing, amount of square, increased warranty. Somebody had mentioned. I do think the standard's 5, but, oh, he left. But he changed it to 10, but then on the revised quote it went back to 5, so it's probably not intentional, but that's a good thing to check. Increased warranty. And clarify warranty would only really cover the work they did. Anything else I'm missing? I know it's complicated. Yes, sir.
Since you're already planning on doing splicing and you're replacing a small section and you're doing
Big
a
section.
shingle off repair,
Big section.
why are you planning on putting shingles on rather than going with steel when it's superior?
We can, I don't want to make up a number, but I would venture to say that you would quickly push past 100,000, well past 100,000. Steel is very expensive. The longevity is great. It looks good. We did briefly talk about that, but I think that we knew the expenditure would be big. I mean,
I think if you still got it, you're still gonna be getting into some ice damming issues on it.
oh, that, yeah.
And if you start getting that juggling around the steel and stuff, the
Yeah, it
bad
does.
things happen.
Yeah, I'm thinking about your question directly, but no, it wouldn't solve the problem. That's,
I'm not saying it would solve the
Yeah.
problem, but instead of re-shingling when you're done, why not the steel, since if you look at year by year, the cost is gonna trickle out farther.
yeah, it's a big cost. I mean, this is half the building that's having problems. It's a big cost. I mean, everything's very expensive right now. And this isn't just a tear off of new shingles. They've tried that and it didn't
And I
work.
recognize that.
Yeah, that's not working. So if I'm gonna put my name on an alternate solution and it's gonna work or it's not, that's why we're
What I'm
discussing
saying
it.
is, you do this repair, shingles on outside versus metal on outside when metal is generally better accepted.
Absolutely.
Depends on the metal.
Yeah, but again, it's an expense thing. We'd have to do the whole roof, wouldn't solve.
It's not great either, because you got puncture holes through the steel. Steel's guaranteed for 100 years, but as you put a hole through it, it's no longer guaranteed.
It can dent and hail. I think shingles have them,
Is hidden fasteners.
can't walk on it easily. And there's a lot of bad things to steel too. It's super loud in the building, you're having a wedding and it's just rocking in your ears. I mean, I don't know. It's a great suggestion, but I don't know that it makes sense given the winter coming and trying to stay within budget constraints, yeah. But thank you.
Okay,
That is all for my report, thank you.
Dan,
Okay.
Oh.
You all have a copy of the payment listing since our last meeting. I processed 15 electronic payments totaling $40,462.06 and 22 warrants, total of $506,106.30, total of $546,568.36. One of which was our Phillips paving warrant for $494,080, which we voted to approve. So at this time, can I get a motion to pay the remaining bills?
Yes, so moved.
second.
BJ?
Yes.
Riley?
Yes.
Michael?
Yes.
Okay, as it's been mentioned numerous times, today was the Budget Commission hearing, and from what I understand, it's not happened in the last 8 years that somebody from Newberry told us, but they were over an hour behind when we got there, and they didn't even go through, they didn't even take a lunch, which they normally would take an hour, so. So they were extremely, and I didn't see any of the earlier hearings with the other townships. We went in when Newberry started, and they went pretty quick, so did Huntsburg, and then it was us. But I guess earlier this morning, they had some issues with some of the other townships. And obviously, there were some pointed questions regarding those townships that had fire companies, into private fire corporations. And they didn't seem to be, too tough on us. I mean, but in the end, our budget passed. There weren't any concerns or issues. Nobody has any questions there.
No, Dan, I think they threw in a comment that was well done, so, yeah.
Yeah, no, it was.
So thank you.
I listened in, and just to validate, confirm what you said, yeah, I listened to all of the meetings,
Oh.
and Auburn went very smoothly, so good job, Dan.
Oh, thank you.
There's an 800-pound gorilla in that office today up there. It's got something to do with Hamden Fire.
Yes. Yeah, I'm sure it did. And out of that came a resolution accepting the amounts and rates as determined by the Budget Commission and authorizing the necessary tax levies and certifying them to the county auditor. And that's for the tax year 2026, 2027 collection year. Board of Trustees of Auburn Township, Geauga County, met in regular session 17th of August 2026 in the admin building. President are Michael Troyan, Riley Davis, Patrick Kavanaugh. Somebody needs to move the adoption of the following resolution. With the provisions of laws previously adopted a tax budget for the next succeeding fiscal year commencing on January 1st, 2027. Whereas the Budget Commission of Geauga County, Ohio has certified its action thereon to this board together with an estimate by the county auditor for the rate of each tax necessary to be levied by the board and what part thereof is without and what part within the 10 mil tax limitation. Therefore be it resolved by the Board of Trustees of Auburn Township, Geauga County, that the amounts and rates as determined by the Budget Commission in its certification be and the same are hereby accepted. And be it further resolved that there be and hereby levied on the tax duplicate of said Auburn Township the rate of each tax necessary to be levied within and without the 10 mil limitation as follows. General Fund, $561,096, equivalent, that's inside millage of 1.4 mils, and the other inside millage 1.6 mils. $252,252, and then an additional $1,355,447 for our 4.65 mils, which I think is four road levies. And then the fire levy fund, which will bring in $958,072, totaling 3.5 mils, and an additional, the second fire levy fund of $507,334 for 1.8 mils. And then it just lists each individual levy, road levy expiring, or originated in 2006, expires, it was authorized last authorized by voters in 2020, and then it just lists all the levies, of which one is up for renewal this year.
Right. So you need a motion to adopt that, Daniel?
Yeah, I do.
I'll make a motion to adopt.
Second.
Second, okay. PJ?
Yes.
Riley?
Yes.
Patrick?
Yes.
Or Michael?
Whatever, man.
Yeah.
Makes you happy.
It's getting late. Finally, PJ, I just wanted to clarify on the minutes. You're just concerned about that last action item, reconsider the use of the term threat letter and zoning
Yeah,
correspondence.
that implies that we use that term as a township, we never have.
Yeah, you're correct. So if I cross this out and then send it down and you guys initial it, we can vote to get these out approved?
Yes, that's, I don't wanna, that's.
Yeah, I agree. That wasn't a zoning, okay.
Okay.
So.
PJ, you want to make a motion to approve them minutes as amended?
It sounds like, does it look right there, Mike? I don't know.
I just
Okay.
crossed out the whole
All right.
section.
Oh, yes, then absolutely, I will make a motion to
I would
approve
just
with the correction.
initial it and sign, initial where I crossed out, and
Okay.
Second.
then sign it. Riley, you second?
Yes, sir.
And initial change.
Okay, PJ,
Yes.
Riley,
Yes.
Michael.
Yes.
And I believe that's all, folks.
No, it's not.
Oh.
See, that's why I've been holding this for.
Oh, wait a
like
minute,
5
there
minutes.
is, oh, no, I don't have it. What else is there?
That's why I've been holding this for 5 minutes. We have to vote on that amendment.
Which amendment?
Aha,
Data? Or?
zoning.
Oh, to
commission.
the 26. To the policy manual?
ZC 20, no. This is ZC 2026-01.
Oh, zoning.
This is the prohibition on data centers. We held public hearing, we closed the public hearing, we need to vote on it, therefore, within 20 days of closing that public hearing, which was 14 days ago. I don't know if you need to review this at all, or
Oh, I think we
it's
all-
data centers.
Yeah.
It's very simple.
Yes.
We made it simple, just,
Just says they're not allowed. I'm gonna show it if you want.
That's pretty much it, yeah.
She has a question.
Oh, yeah. You would have a question on zoning, wouldn't you?
Did the zoning commission first do this amendment and sent it to you, or did you do it?
Oh, no, this was, they initiated it.
They initiated
ZC did, and it's been the planning,
Okay.
inside
So then the
inside
normal
baseball,
process-
but planning recommended denial. And then they sent a whole,
5 pages.
memo as to why. But the bottom line seems to be that state legislature's doing so much on this right now that whatever we're gonna put in might need to be modified. So if we don't
Most
put it in,
likely.
it's gonna need to be modified too.
Right.
So, and honestly, this whole thing, Dee, is kind of born out of what's going on down Shalersville.
Right.
And I know Mike talked to the trustee down there, chairman, and I talked to the zoning inspector down there. And even planning commission, Linda Crombie up there, they all kind of said the same thing. There's so many changes coming that this is gonna have to be readdressed soon
yeah, just
anyway.
do a blanket denial
Yes.
on it and call it a day and then tweak it later. At least you've got it, if we have it on the books, so that's what we're looking at.
It also said that it was posted on the website, and I didn't see it on the website.
That I don't know. It should be.
It's not. I was looking for it myself.
It was, because that's where I pulled it from at the last meeting when I was showing everybody, and it's been removed. I don't know why. I don't handle that. But I was just gonna say that it was there, because that's where I pulled it at the last meeting for everybody.
There's a deficiency in the website in terms of finding document.
Oh, yeah, that's why we're getting a new one. We're getting a new one. It's coming.
And it's supposed to be posted up here too,
Yeah, that's,
and it's not.
I could have swore it was all uploaded under the last March 12th, and it all stemmed off that, and there was multiple pages, and I was showing everybody at the last meeting. And I was gonna grab it for you right now, just, I don't know why I don't know who messed with it or took it away, or...
Well, why would it be on March 12th if they had the zoning commission meeting in July?
No, it wasn't March
I was
12th.
there.
Well, when everything originally started with this, it was back then, because that email where you said that our prosecutor reviewed it
Yeah, it comes back.
recently, and then I said, no, yeah, but you said they just reviewed it, and it was actually back in,
There's a process for it.
oh, May. Yeah,
I don't think the meeting notes from the zoning commission are up to date.
yeah, I don't know what that deficiency is. I asked that last year. I said everything should be up to date ASAP. I don't know if we're not getting the stuff from the ZC or the BZA as well as from May 12th is the last update. I don't. We could agree right now to get some accountability from whoever. I don't know who technically in charge of zoning would be.
Sidney
Frank
Fulton.
Kicko?
No, Sidney Fulton is the secretary for the zoning commission.
He's the zoning inspector, but he doesn't.
Sidney Fulton is the secretary.
Zoning commission is a different guy.
Sidney Fulton is the secretary for the zoning commission, who of course acts on direction of the commission.
And the BZA we can look into at the same time.
I think Jane Hardy is the.
No, it's a different girl now too. That's-
She's not maybe?
She is not.
Allison is the zoning.
So are we thinking we're just not getting the data,
No,
possibly?
I don't know that you're not getting the data, I'm just saying it's not showing up on a website where you'd expect it to be.
No, this followed proper procedure. This, yeah, it came with the flow chart that you recall that flow chart.
No, it was on there. I showed, at the last meeting, I had it on the board. It's not there.
The zoning commission, it gets,
I don't know where-
send it up to the prosecutor for approval and their suggestions. Comes back to the zoning commission, the zoning commission can take as long as they want before they submit it to the trustees. And after they make the amendment, they have to have a public hearing, which they had.
Yeah.
And then it's submitted to the trustees in a certain amount of time, and then the trustees are within the time.
Yeah, I get it, but.
She's done this
here-
before.
Here you guys are looking at voting to approve an amendment to the zoning resolution. And it's not publicly available before you actually vote on it. You know, even though it's all gone through the commission and all that, if I wanted to review it before I came to the meeting tonight, just to know whether it's worth looking at.
Well, I'm gonna defer to Riley, who keeps up with the IT stuff, and I believe it was on the website when prior to and when we held the public hearing. What's happened since the public hearing was closed, I don't know.
Yeah,
But that public hearing was
I
closed.
saw it at the public hearing, I was at the.
Yeah, I brought it up 2 weeks ago. Why it's not there now? I don't have access to our website, actually. I'm just getting us the new one. So I will ask that question.
I think we just need to restructure the way the website's organized.
Oh, yeah, that's already in process.
The
That-
zoning commission had their meeting on July 16th.
16, yep. And they forwarded it to us on the 20th. And subsequently, we set up our public hearing, which we, what's it? What's it now?
Where do we do our advertising for that? Is it the News Herald?
Yes.
How come we don't do it in the Maple Leaf?
This should have been in the Maple Leaf.
Yes.
We only use the News Herald on because that's a daily and the Maple Leaf is not
Right,
as needed.
okay, because I didn't see it.
The copies of the legal notices are on the township webpage.
Is it there?
What's the resolution number on there?
2026-01. Okay, and this, as long as we're looking at dates and things like that, it was initiated, no, the adoption, Auburn Township, this amendment to the resolution 2026-01, initiated by the zoning commission the 11th of June. And then,
The planning commission sent their
they
memorandum back
did.
on July 7th.
July 7th, that's right.
2026.
Yeah, so it followed that, you remember that flow chart. But we are on the clock to vote for on this, up or down.
Oh, here, if you wanna, I found this. August 3.
Was that about the roads?
That was our public
It's at
hearing.
the end of my report, the budget.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was our public hearing.
So this, moving forward, this is helpful, but we just voted to adopt these minutes tonight.
Right.
This goes back to the draft.
PJ made the
I brought this up last year. I thought drafts would be good. Like, this is labeled as a draft. We could easily post drafts as they become available. It's better than nothing.
Especially if the public hearing is involved.
Yeah, I suggested that. I think some of the pushback, if I remember, was if something's not right, and I don't know. But if it's labeled as a draft
Well, we
like this
decided
one,
putting a draft up wouldn't work as long as it said draft.
But you can manipulate that to take the draft off of it.
who can? Anybody? Yeah, anybody can do anything. Like, we would want to leave draft on there.
I understand that, but if I wanted to print that off and you made changes to it, I could say, well, this was on the website.
As a draft.
I could take the draft off and say, this was on the website.
Well, we would,
Even the watermark.
we would have,
You can take the watermark off, yes.
we would have,
You're creative enough, yeah.
We would have the real copy.
well, no, yeah, we already know what we posted though, so that would, I don't know why anybody would do that. But yeah, so, I mean, moving forward, I don't think it's unreasonable to, we gotta get that up to speed though. I mean, March and June or whatever's going, we gotta figure that out like quick, like, so we're not emailing zoning, we're gonna email directly the two secretaries, or do we email everybody and say, hey, who's got these minutes? They need to be approved at the following meeting, and they need to get to Ms. Blazer so they can get updated. Bang, bang, bang. Is that a good
Yeah, that's
flow?
it's a standard flow. Yeah,
So let's just do it. Let's just do that. Easy enough. Okay, and then
Okay.
drafts. We will post drafts.
I am going to make a motion to approve ZC 2026-01.
I will second.
PJ,
Yes.
Riley,
Yes.
Michael.
Yes. Okay. Oddly enough, through all the reports, we've gotten through all the old business and the new business.
The roof thing, do you want to post a revised scope of work, or just invite, hey, if somebody's got a better plan for any amount of money, or do you want to, I can email this quote to you and you can review it, and then we can see at the next meeting what direction we want to go as well. I just lost track of giving it to you. I'm gonna do it now so I don't forget, actually. Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna say this patch smacks of desperation. I, as I've said 2-3 times now, was highly interested in that cold flow roof. I think that might be our solution, our most economical solution. The heat loss in that attic is serious, and a patch will not solve that. And there's, I don't know who said it, but the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results.
Wasn't that Edison?
I was thinking W.C. Fields or somebody, I don't know.
Einstein takes credit for it.
Yeah, Edison or Einstein, I think it was.
Einstein.
Winner, Einstein, excellent job. Good.
Mike, looks like you picked the wrong meeting.
I warned him. I warned him.
Switch back.
See, here's the deal, okay? You gotta think of all these ways that you get to go out early. No matter where you are the central focus of why these meetings go late. It just gravitates around.
That's what it seems like.
Okay. Forget save the date. You guys can read it. Any public comment? See, people are getting sleepy here.
PJ needs to sign an initial.
Did I miss something?
Okay, so based on all of this, then I will make a motion to adjourn so we can all go home and go to bed. Nobody wants a second?
I will second.
I second
I would
it.
say I'll second it if you want.
Illegal.
PJ?
Yes.
Riley?
Yes.
Michael? Yes.